Trib Live High School Sports Network is the official video and audio streaming partner of the WPIAL. We broadcast over 2,000 sporting events each year and cover 17 sports in over 170 schools. At HSSN, you'll find the latest in high school sports news, live and archive broadcasts, scores, standings, and much more. Trib Live High School Sports Network, your high school sports leader. All season, every season.
This is the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAT.
Gold heading back to Lawrence County.
Your home for the County of Champions.
Swing and a miss! A no-hitter in the WPIAL Championship game!
The Mohawk Warriors have knocked off the four-time defending champion and are champions again.
The Shenango Wildcats are the WPIAL champions!
Elwood City, WPIAL champions for the first time in school history!
Cox with it. Cox all the way in the jam again. The Red Hurricanes storming their way to another title. Swing and a miss. A one-hit masterpiece.
Turn. Vegas and Maple keeping themselves coming near side. Can they hit him? No! He got in! Will they get it? Win the state championship!
Strike three called. Put another notch in the belt. Memorial Spartans three-piece.
And the Shannock is the 2021 2A Girls Champion.
Your voice for Lawrence County sports.
The gold ball headed home to Newcastle.
This is the Lawrence County SportsNet. A pleasant good evening from historic Carl A. Ashman Memorial Stadium for potentially the last time ever. Glad to be here for tonight's contest on WKSD News Radio 1200. And with video streaming tonight at lcsportsnet.com. Rob Gregory, it's been a long but quick season. It's, well, there's no better way to put it.
That's a decent characterization. Just to be clear, you know, the pit's not going anywhere.
Yes.
But the bond issue that was passed should result in significant improvements to this facility that are sorely needed. And as we were talking before the game, if there's ever a place in Western Pennsylvania, if not on this earth, that deserves some work done to it, it is Ashman Memorial Stadium in the pit. And they're going to get it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes according to plan, which we know that always happens. Maybe for the beginning of next season, we'll open the new pit.
Yeah, hoping for the beginning of next season to have that up with new turf, new stadium bleachers on both sides. A lot of the area here at the pit condemned in terms of those bleachers over the years. So just a chance to get one final game on the grass. Now, yes, Aliquippa almost for certain will be hosting a playoff game, but in recent memory, Rob, they've intended to take that game elsewhere to play on turf at another local venue.
Sure.
And especially with the rain we've had now the last 2 weeks, you can tell the grass definitely getting chewed up out there.
Yeah, more rain expected this weekend, more rain expected next week as the weather starts to change. I mean, they're even talking snow flurries at the end of next week, so.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay.
Let's talk about our game tonight here. Rob, with the Red Hurricanes coming in 6-3 overall, 3-1 in the Parkway Conference. Aliquippa 7-1 overall, 4-0 in the conference. A battle for first place. Aliquippa can get it outright with a win tonight. Newcastle can force a two-way or potentially three-way tie with the Beaver Bobcats with a victory here this evening.
And there are no tiebreakers when it goes to conference champions. If you're tied at the top of the conference, you will get a plaque. What they'll do, though, is they'll use the tiebreakers, the head-to-head, the Gardner points, the point differential, for seeding purposes out of the conference into the 4A bracket. So in terms of that, you've got Newcastle, Aliquippa, and possibly Beaver that could be at the top of the conference at the end of tonight at 4-1. However, Aliquippa's got a huge lead in point differential, and I think that's where it comes down to as far as the seeding goes.
Yeah, the Gardner points would be, well, if it's a three-way tie, it goes to head-to-head, which it would be a three-way tie with everybody beating each other. So
Right.
nothing going on there in terms of breaking that tie. If it's a two-way tie between Newcastle and Aliquippa, that would be Newcastle winning tonight.
Right.
Newcastle would then take the number one seed out of the Parkway Conference outright.
Right.
But most likely the scenario would be a three-way tie. It would go to Gardner points, which are even. Then it goes to the tiebreaker points, which is your point differential. And with Aliquippa winning every game by more than 10 points and Newcastle being in a 7 points or less game in every single one of their conference clashes, definitely advantage Quips and advantage Bobcats in that regard.
And the Canes, they've become the cardiac kids of this conference with their 7-point win last week against Chartiers Valley and a 1-point victory the week before. So, it's a Canes team that has fought through a lot of adversity this season to come to this point, come to the pit, week 9, game 10, the week before the playoff, to face a very good Aliquippa team.
And an Aliquippa team, as we get ready here on our pregame show, a Aliquippa team featuring a freshman running back. You don't hear that very often in high school football, certainly not at 4A or above, and certainly not here at Aliquippa with a team with so much talent year in and year out. But next man up mentality. A couple of guys go out early with injury early in the season and even in the preseason, and you got a really special kid that's going to be running the football tonight for the Aliquippa Quips, averaging just shy of 180 yards per game.
Yeah, Taquai Hayes, as you said, took next man up to heart. Pretty good story in the Post-Gazette last couple weeks on this kid. Freshman, like you said, 5'9", 170, comes into tonight's game, averaging 8.9 yards a carry, 900 yards on the season. He's a top 20 runner in the WPIL. He's caught 4 balls out of the backfield, 10 total touchdowns. And like you said, as a freshman, he's doing all this.
Taking a look, though, with that, it's not just a one-trick pony. It's not Aliquippa from 5-6 years ago. Since Coach Warfield has gotten here, really balanced offense. You have a 1,000-yard passer in a sophomore in Quentin Good, and he is quite good, over 1,100 yards on the season, and avoiding the turnovers on the year so far has been the Aliquippa Quips.
Yeah, only 2 interceptions to those 11 touchdowns. He's thrown for 1,128 yards. He's another one of those top 20 statistical WPIAL players. He's a top 20 passer. So you've got a passer that keeps the mistakes to a minimum but throws touchdown passes. You've got a back that's averaging 9 yards a pop, and he's got 10 scores. Basically, week 2, week 3, becoming the full-time starter in the backfield. So right there, you've got 2 guys that will break a game open, no problem.
That's what Aliquippa will bring to the table. Again, 7-1 overall, 4-0 in the conference. That's the Canes' opponent tonight. Kickoff coming at about 7 o'clock from Carl A. Ashman Memorial Stadium, and we'll break down the Canes after another cardiac Cane moment a week ago, their 3rd conference win of the year. We'll talk about the Canes and what to expect from them tonight, but first, let's take a 2-minute timeout here on our pregame show on News Radio 1200 WKST and video stream at lcsportsnet.com.
GNC Community Federal Credit Union.
How is your bank treating you? Do you feel like just another person in a really large crowd? Well, maybe it's time to look for an alternative financial institution like GNC Community Federal Credit Union. GNC is a safe, consumer-friendly financial service provider that offers consumers with alternatives. Visit GNCFCU.com or stop by one of their 2 locations on South Jefferson Street or 2907 Wilmington Road, Newcastle. Federally insured by NCUA. It's said that defense is the key to a championship team. This football season, when it comes to personal injury, you want the winning team of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. They are your personal injury law firm. Football fans know the best defense is a good offense. When you're injured, let LGKG defend your rights by going after the injury compensation you deserve. Call Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George for a free consultation today, 724-658-8535, or go to lgkg.com. Good luck to all the teams this football season from Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George.
Gas continues to rise, so why drive? Let the Newcastle Transit Authority take you where you want to go. Take the bus to work, school, doctor's appointments, or shopping, with stops throughout Lawrence County and weekday service to Pittsburgh. Perfect for those of you who drive it every day, saving yourself gas money and wear and tear on your vehicle. Public transportation just makes sense. Why drive when you can relax and ride? For more information or route schedules, log on to NewcastleTransitAuthority.org. And the Newcastle Transit Authority, going your way. And remember, senior citizens ride free.
Washington Center Physical Therapy has been helping residents of the Newcastle area since 1987. They are the official physical therapy center for Newcastle Athletics and specializes in orthopedic problems, especially the knee and shoulder. When your doctor orders physical therapy by law, you have a choice of where to go. Choose Washington Center Physical Therapy for your best outcome. Visit them on the web, WashingtonCentrEPT.com. Washington Center Physical Therapy in downtown Newcastle, a proud sponsor of high school sports.
Back here at Ashburn Memorial Stadium at the home of the Quips. Aliquippa and Newcastle coming up in just over 20 minutes' time. I'm James Dodson, Rob Gregory, Ken LeBovie enjoying another weekend away, which means, of course, that something crazy is going to happen, as is tradition here between Rob Gregory and myself.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Well, you know what? Maybe we're going to keep it away this time with our discussion. We're going to avoid West Mifflin Part 2.
Well, the law of averages says that one of our broadcasts together has to be somewhat normal.
Somewhat.
Some semblance of normal. Hopefully it's tonight.
Maybe we'll find out in just over 20 minutes for kickoff in this one. Newcastle at 6-3 overall, 3-1 in the Parkway. Let's talk a little bit about the Cardiac Canes, and had a lead. Were able to hold on to that lead late despite Chartiers Valley getting a 99-yard touchdown drive late, recovering an onside kick. Newcastle able to hold on, and like it's been all year. That 7-point victory, 28-21 a week ago, actually the largest margin of victory in all Parkway Conference games for Newcastle, believe it or not. And they're just finding a way in most of these games, getting a couple late scores against Blackhawk and Montour to win those games, and almost coming back against Beaver. It's been a battle week in, week out, and that's going to be huge come playoff time, but huge when you come into the biggest game of the year tonight with the conference championship on the line.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these scores. The Montour game was a 4-point game. That's a 4-point victory thanks to the touchdown pass with 8 seconds to go in that one from Chris Hood. The Beaver game, they were down big in a game that was spread over 2 days because of lightning, and Saturday they came back and scored twice and made it a 6-point game and a loss. The Blackhawk game, the 1-point victory. The Mateo Savage 2-point conversion to the back of the end zone, the game winner there. And then last week, you had a 7-0 game at the half with Char Valley getting the ball to start the third quarter, and Chris Hood changes the entire complexion of that game with a 29-yard pick six.
And that's what I want to talk a little bit about is the defense there, especially with Chris Hood getting his pick six, Mike Wells with one early in the year. Well, he still had the cast on his hand. Really impressive how this defense has completely turned it around from a year ago where they were allowing over 40 points in every single contest.
Yeah, they've faced a lot of runs in the last couple weeks. They've come up against 74 rushes, and they've only given up 267 yards. It's less than 4 yards a carry. It's 3.6 yards per carry. And that front four, talking about Devin Palmer, talking about Alex Fox et al., they have been phenomenal the last 2 or 3 weeks. In a Parkway schedule that, I hate to harp on this, but it's only 5 games, and so you have absolutely no room for error when you're trying to get to the bracket.
And it makes every game that much more meaningful for sure. Only 6 teams in the conference, so 4 will go to the playoffs. Aliquippa, Beaver, Newcastle have clinched. Chartiers Valley and Montour still up for grabs with that final spot. It'll try to keep you updated on that one throughout the course of the game here tonight. But I mean, Rob, you've seen all the games this year up close and personal, and just the battle and going back and forth in all these games, and the never quit attitude that Newcastle, especially down 20-0 on a Friday night, and then coming back the next day and nearly completing a comeback. I mean, while it might not translate to it hasn't a undefeated season, that it's going to be set up, even no matter what happens tonight, set up good for the playoff run.
Yeah, and you go back to that Beaver game, and they were so off kilter that Friday night. They just come off that last second win against Montour, and they go to Beaver. They're riding high, and they just played an absolutely forgettable first half. I mean, Chris Hood, as well as he has played a quarterback this season for the Canes, it just seemed like he was forcing every throw. Mike Wells had a couple fumbles because he still had the cast on his wrist. They come back the next morning, completely different, end up making it a 6-point game at the end, and had opportunities. I mean, they had the ball. They had first and goal at the 5-yard line twice on Saturday and couldn't punch it in. So they have, like you said, they have seen a lot of adversity, and then you just look down the schedule. I mean, that's their only conference loss, and that's one that, they definitely probably could have won. The Blackhawk game with the 2-pointer at the end, that's adversity. That's coming back. Last week being down at the half to Char Valley. And the other thing that really can't be ignored is the fact that the football gods are kind of walking with them right now. I mean, for 2 weeks there against Blackhawk was missing one of their top receivers. Last week Char Valley was missing its quarterback, probably the best quarterback in the conference, one of the top quarterbacks in 4A. But what the Canes have been able to do is capitalize on all those things, and now they're sitting at 3-1 here in the conference, with an opportunity to take a share of the conference title, which you probably would not have been talking about after that Saturday morning at Beaver.
We certainly weren't talking about it on Friday night. No, it did not continue on Saturday morning, but the play the last couple of weeks, especially with Michael Wells being back to full strength, having both hands available, just giving that other option for Chris Hood. And when you look at his numbers, Chris Hood, just shy of 900 yards passing, just shy of 700 yards on the ground, a total of 17 touchdowns on offense. Oh, by the way, he's caught a touchdown pass this year as well.
Right. And he's got the pick six. And he's got the pick six. So,
doing a little bit of everything. But there's only been 12 in the WPIAL history, only 12 players who have gone 1,000. Very possible Hood, with just 100 yards passing away and 300 yards rushing away, guaranteed at least 2 more games. That number is very much possible, and that's he's done that kind of quietly when you think about it, compared to some of the big numbers that you're going to hear and see across the district.
Well, I mean, he hasn't put up any 300-yard passing games.
Yeah.
He hasn't put up any 200-yard rushing games. So I mean, he hasn't been totally under the radar, but he hasn't been screaming from the mountaintop, "Hey, look at me!" And you've got to give all the credit to Hood, only because again, he expected to have a big weapon in Michael Wells with him for the entire season. And when Wells was down for the first 4 games of the season, it was up to Chris Hood to pick up the slack, and he did that, and he did that with gusto. And his experience has taken him to this game now in Aliquippa, where, like you said, he's staring at 1,000-yard seasons, both passing and rushing.
And with Wells getting a touchdown on the ground and in the air last week, you mentioned Hood getting one on the ground, one in the air, and one on the interception. Those two, especially on defense, are the quarterbacks. Obviously, Hood, and Wells last year, both time at quarterback on offense. Just 2 great senior leaders on both sides of the football. And in 4A, to have that many, or to have a couple of senior leaders like that playing both ways, really a big part. And we don't talk enough about Wells in the special teams, the way he can switch field position with the leg,
which he has done time and time again the last 3 weeks. I mean, he's been booming 50, 55-yard, even 60-yard punts. Granted, some of that is with the roll, but I mean, you'll take it. And when that happens, when you can switch the field like that, you can help your defense out tremendously when you're pulling stuff like that. And going back to the leadership aspect, it's crucial for Hood and Wells to take that role, because there are so many players on this offense that can contribute and have contributed this season. I mean, you just look down the list. I mean, Braylon Sibley and Malik Jefferson in the backfield behind Wells, they have been wonderful for spelling Wells. I mean, last week they were 15 for 93 for 6.2 average, and like I said, you can just go on and on with the role players on this team.
We'll talk more about this game and the other games across Lawrence County here in Week 9, Game 10, when we come back. First, a 2-minute timeout. You're listening to Newcastle Red Hurricane football here on News Radio 1200 WKST and streaming on the Lawrence County SportsNet.
those of you who drive it every day, saving yourself gas money and wear and tear on your vehicle. Public transportation just makes sense. Why drive when you can relax and ride? For more information or route schedules, log on to NewcastleTransAuthority.org and the Newcastle Transit Authority. Point your way. And remember, senior citizens ride free.
Washington Center Physical Therapy has been helping residents of the Newcastle area since 1987. They are the official physical therapy center for Newcastle Athletics and specializes in orthopedic problems, especially the knee and shoulder. When your doctor orders physical therapy, by law, you have a choice of where to go. Choose Washington Center Physical Therapy for your best outcome. Visit them on the web, WashingtonCenterEPT.com. Washington Center Physical Therapy in downtown Newcastle, a proud sponsor of high school sports.
All right, welcome back to News Radio 1200 WKSD and on Lawrence County SportsNet. Glad to have video coverage tonight to go along with the audio coverage at News Radio 1200. The best of both worlds.
Outstanding.
Top choice for Newcastle Red Hurricane football. I'm glad to be with you again, Rob Gregory. Let's take a look across the other games going on in Lawrence County, and guess what? There's not many of them. A lot of county versus county games, which is nice. Let's first talk about Wilmington not playing tonight. They have the off week before the championship begins in District 10. It will be a 2-3 matchup. The Hounds are the 3 seed versus 2-seeded Northwestern. That game next Friday, so they get a week off to prepare. But Coach Fillion's team doing what they do, well, year in and year out.
Well, and maybe in an unfamiliar position, being the 3rd seed in that bracket. Of course, Farrell, a team that thumped them earlier this season, is the number 1 seed, and 4th seeded Greenville is the other team in the bracket at 6-3. So, you know, for the Greyhounds to win another District 10 title, they're going to have to go through that incredibly tough Farrell Steelers team.
Well, that would be, what, the 3rd straight year then that they would have? Well, no, only the 2nd straight year because Farrell's normally been down in 1A. They were forced to move up with a competitive balance. So,
right.
Would be the 5th time they've played, though, in the last 2 years, as they played twice in the regular season and in the championship last year. The other games going on, we have the Class 1A battle in the Big 7 Conference. Shenango traveling to Union for that finale. Shenango unofficially unofficial in? Officially, unofficially.
Is that the industry term for what we're calling it here?
Well, you know what it is now because they are expected to be into the playoffs. All the tiebreaker scenarios seem to be pointing in their direction. Believe that they are in, though it is not 100% official. As tiebreakers are going to play a huge part probably.
Right.
What is that, 3-way tie, 4-way tie now?
Well, I mean, as Don Rebel was correct, I believe correctly pointed out, and I can't believe his head hasn't exploded after the last 3 weeks. But I say that every year with all the, the playoff possibles and scenarios that he provides for the public at large. You know, so Shenango can clinch a playoff berth with a win tonight against a Union team that I don't know what to say about the Scotties. I mean, it's been a tough luck season for this squad that opened the conference schedule by beating a pretty good Rochester team.
In my estimation, the best team in Class 1A right now.
So I mean, you know, you look at their schedule after that. You know, they went to Northgate, they lost by 6. You know, they went to Cornell, who was the standard bearer in that conference. You know, they lost by 12. Then there was that overtime crusher at home against Olsh.
That was the backbreaker.
36. You know, and that's followed by losses at Fort Cherry, and then last week at Burgestown. So, I mean, I don't know what you can say about that Union team other than, you know, they're playing strictly for pride this afternoon or this evening.
It is senior night there, and without one of their seniors, the quarterback Tyler Staub, who broke a leg 2 weeks ago. It's just that's what the Union's season has been for sure. Let's jump up to Class 2A. Mohawk hosting Elwood City. Mohawk can get as high as 3rd place in the conference or could drop as far as 5th place in the conference. If they're up 3rd, there's a chance at a home playoff game still. It's not the top 2 in each conference that are guaranteed home in Class 2A. I think it would be tough for Mohawk to get there, but Neshannock, if they can pull off a win in the other game in the MAC, they travel to Laurel tonight. I think with them getting a victory tonight, very good possibility that is a 3rd place team. Neshannock could be getting a home playoff game.
Yeah, and you look at those two schedules. You got a Mohawk team that came really fast out of the gate, including a win against Neshannock at home to start the conference schedule, but they have dropped their last 3 to fall to 3-3 in the conference. Neshannock has rebounded before last week, blowing a lead in that second half to Beaver Falls, but like you said, they're in a pretty good position right now, sitting at 4-2 in the conference.
Very good position to lock up that number 3 spot no matter what ends up happening tonight, but again, could bump up even depending on how the chips fall this evening.
And of course, Laurel at 6-0 in the conference, finally getting some Harrisburg love this week, checking in number 10 in the Penn Live state rankings.
Took long enough, didn't it?
Sure did.
And they're all looking up at Stowe Rocks, though, for sure, in the WPIL.
Yeah, you kind of get that feeling, don't you?
That's a very talented Stowe Rocks team. Yeah. And let's jump up to this Class 4A. The other games going in the Parkway Conference tonight, and a couple of big games in the other conferences across Class 4A. But I think just really, starts enough with, in terms of figuring out who's going to get that 4th playoff spot here in the Parkway, whether it is Char Valley or Montour.
Well, I mean, it's a schedule really tailor-made for this season as far as it goes, right? I mean, winning you're in between Char Valley and Montour. I mean, that's basically how it is. Over in the Big 8, huge matchup tonight.
Huge.
Belle Vernon and McKeesport. I mean, McKeesport continues to roll on. Can they knock off the juggernaut that is Belle Vernon at the beach? That is yet to be seen. Probably the first week off of McKeesport can pull that off. Probably pushing Belle Vernon into having to play that first week next week in the 4A bracket.
I'll tell you what, McKeesport, very similar to what you see from a Montour and similar to what you see from an Aliquippa, a team that just gets better and better as the year goes along. If you're going to beat one of these teams, you want to play them early in the year to have your best chance at it usually.
And their only loss this season, I believe, was that out-of-state team. It was a New York team they played.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Non-conference
Yes.
game. So they're coming in this game at 8-1 and looking pretty strong with their victory at Thomas Jefferson a couple of weeks ago. And then in the Greater Allegheny, you've got a Hampton squad that's probably going to finish 10-0 for only the second time in school history. And you got to think 10-0 would be good enough for a first-round bye in the bracket if you're looking ahead to the brackets, which will be released this weekend.
Yeah, they will be released tomorrow night on the Trib Live High School Sports Network at 5 o'clock. Not on Monday like they usually are. Will be released on Saturday. Gives the teams 2 extra days to figure out their scenarios. I think that's a great move by the WPIAL.
Yeah, I like that too. I mean, and it gives wonks like us 2 extra days to complain about things and
Yes.
and try and strategize and try to break everything down.
Senior night festivities and announcing of the seniors coming out for the Aliquippa Quips right now. Newcastle already on the field taking a look at the Flaming Spear at midfield. And again, we got to say it again here, Rob. This is the last game at the Old Pit, as we would call it. Last regular season game for sure, potentially the last game overall.
It would seem. And, any improvements to this incredibly great and historic facility are long overdue. And like we were talking before the game, it really couldn't happen to a better place.
Well, about time, as it's a great venue, and you're glad to be able to keep some of the tradition alive with it, and that's going to be fun to see the renovations. We're a couple minutes from kickoff as the Aliquippa Quips are going to come to their near sideline, and that's one of the things about this place too. Not a lot of room down the sidelines.
That's one of the things we were also talking about. Any renovations they do to this facility, there's really no room for expansion. I mean, you've got the field house, which is on, that would be what? Is that the east end of the field? I
that
believe?
Sounds right. Yes.
The field house in the east end, which was renovated 7 or 8 years ago or something like that, but it's got a hillside behind it. You've got the visiting bleachers across from us, which have been closed for several years now, but there's a hillside behind that. I mean, the footprint of this facility is pretty definite. Now, if you've seen the artist renderings of the new place, it's gorgeous. It's
absolutely incredible.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, as far as expansion, probably not so much.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room whatsoever for that expansion, but it sounds like the press box is staying the same, and that's what we were told, that the bleachers on the far side will not be redone, that they're just going to be torn down completely. So maybe a chance you could expand a little bit in that direction
perhaps,
get some more stands this way.
And if you've ever been here, you know that the light standards on that visiting side are in front of the bleachers instead of behind the bleachers. They still have kind of the old old-timey double-posted goalposts. Here, even on the home side, you've got an entire section of bleachers that have been closed off because they're just unsafe. So, but we were talking, one of my favorite pieces of this place is the press box, only because it is so open with the windows. The windows are huge. The sight lines are fantastic. And you know what? If they don't change anything about the press box, that would not upset me at all.
Captains meeting at midfield, about ready to get this one underway. Aliquippa wearing the All Blacks with the red numerals, black helmet with the Quip head on the helmet. Newcastle, their road whites with black pants, the white stripe, and the black helmets with the NC logo. Glad to have this one for you here at News Radio 1200 WKST, the season finale, and with video stream at lcsportsnet.com.
Tell you what, the problem with 20 pages
Yeah.
is having 20 pages.
20 pages of notes
let me tell you.
brought out by Rob Gregory. And, we're going to go into it over the course of the night, but we got to say it right now. There are 8 different scenarios, and Rob Gregory over it.
There were 64 scenarios going into next week, and so, I will never equate myself with the effort of Don Rebel, but I'll tell you what, I got a little bit of a taste just from a Newcastle standpoint.
And that's one conference.
That's one team. There were 64 scenarios to go through before last week's game against Char Valley. Of course, that got whittled down to 8, and we can talk about that as we go. And, of course, we'll be following the other 2 games in the conference, Beaver and Blackhawk going at it, and, of course, that big Montour at Char Valley game that will decide the last playoff spot in the Parkway.
So Newcastle will receive to start tonight's contest. Owen Cavarino and Marcus Evans will be deep at the 10-yard line, going left to right as you listen at News Radio 1200 and 97.9 FM.
Seasonable 52 degrees and no rain.
That's all that matters, so field very, very soaked. Left-footed kicker is going to come and splashes at the 10-yard line, and it hit the pylon. It goes into the end zone for the touchback, just barely into the end zone from...
I'm sure he meant to do that.
Oh, absolutely. Yadu Manti, a great leg. We saw it last year. Probably the first field goal that was taken by Aliquippa in a couple of decades. He kicked 4 or 5 last year, and he's showing off the leg. They call him Pele for a reason. He showed off the leg strength there. So first possession of the game, Hood will be under center. 2 receivers to the left, and the receiver goes in motion, and just going in motion, slipping. And a run up the middle, and not much room at all for Jefferson as he's dragged down immediately for a loss of 2. Not great footing, especially down to our left, the east side of the field.
I think that was Braylon Sibley, actually, with that carry.
Thank you.
And you're right. Not much footing at all. Actually, they're just going to give him a loss of 1. I thought very generous of them.
Generous forward progress. You're absolutely correct. Now in the gun is Hood on 2nd and 11. High snap. Zone read. Handoff again up the middle. Bouncing off one tackler, but stuffed right into the line of scrimmage. And already the white uniforms of Newcastle are looking awfully brown. Already you can't even tell the number on the back of Owen Severino.
That looked like Jefferson there getting that yard back. So. But the Canes right where they don't want to be to start this game, a 3rd and long situation on their first series.
And if you're watching at lcsportsnet.com, yes, that is a big puddle right in the middle of that 20-yard line. Ball on the left hash, 3rd down, 7 to go. Wells is going to line up as a tight end on the right side of the formation. Hood under center. Man in motion. Hood was actually... Hood had lined up behind the right guard instead of the left guard.
Say, do you want to explain that one to him?
I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it does go as an illegal shift because as the man was in motion across the formation, Hood realized he had his hands under the right guard.
He wasn't under center.
He dropped back and was hit as he threw incomplete pass. A legal shift penalty is declined Well, that was
Well.
another something you don't see every day, Rob. That's why you and I are together.
That's gotta be the reason.
Unreal. In the end, it's
I may need a 6-pack of that liquid death you're drinking.
good old canned water. There's plenty of water down on the field. Wells going to try to find a dry spot to boot this away, currently standing at his own 5.
Now let's see if he can switch field position here.
High spiraling punt is going to hit near midfield, taken on a bounce at the 46 of the Quips. Look out, big hit on a crackback block. Here comes the flag. Lowering his shoulder down at the 32-yard line is the return man. That was Brandon Banks, but this one's going to come back. As that's one of the points of emphasis in player safety, and that one's going to come back on the crackback.
Flag laying at the Aliquippa 46-yard line.
And, it's tough because you want to make the hit. You love making a big booming hit. And 3 or 4 years ago, that probably would have been completely fine. And honestly, if you can, almost like a basketball pick in that scenario, Rob, it's tough to teach a football player to let up and just do that pick. But you do that, you're just as effective and you won't get the penalty. Unfortunate for the Quips, but that'll push it back from the 45 of Newcastle, 15 yards, to the Aliquippa 40. That's where they'll go 1st and 10.
Yeah, that eliminates what would have been a 22-yard return on a ball it looked like they were going to let roll.
But it took a nice Sunday hop.
Sure did.
So now we'll see Quentin Good, the quarterback for Aliquippa. 1,000-yard passer, and the freshman Taquai Haynes approaching 1,000 yards as a freshman tailback. I formation, receiver each way, turn, handoff to Hayes. Bounces off his own man, comes to the left. He's got room in front of him. Across midfield, one man to beat, and you're not going to get him. 60 yards just like that. One play, one touchdown to Taquai Hayes. Showed some power, showed some speed, and great blocking up front from the Quips line.
And I think also just as important, showed a little bit of patience to see where that lane was going to be, and once he hit it, he was gone.
60 yards to the house. Now on to attempt the extra point. And actually, how about this? They're going to intentionally move a little bit to the left for the snap to get to a bit of a drier spot. Now the officials blow a whistle. They're going to... Oh, they marked it at the 2, not the 3, college style. Or that'd be even professional style, excuse me. Yadu Manti on to attempt point after. Snap is back. Patient, the lefty is. And he puts it over the field house and into the woods for the point after. 7-0 Aliquippa early. We'll be back in a moment here on News Radio 1200 WKST and the Lawrence County SportsNet.
GNC Community Federal Credit Union.
How is your bank treating you? Do you feel like just another person in a really large crowd? Well, maybe it's time to look for an alternative financial institution like GNC Community Federal Credit Union. GNC is a safe, consumer-friendly financial service provider that offers consumers with alternatives. Visit GNCFCU.com or stop by one of their 2 locations on South Jefferson Street or 2907 Wilmington Road, Newcastle. Federally insured by NCUA.
The tradition continues. The Canes on News Radio 1200 WKST.
Easy scoring drive for Rob Gregory to summarize.
One play, 13 seconds, 60 yards, all in the legs of Taquai Hayes. 60 yards for the touchdown. And after the extra point, Aliquippa leads 7-0, 10:03 to go first quarter.
Yadu Manti will again boot it away. And a whistle, and believe Aliquippa might have been offsides on the kick. Looking for the official call. Again, the other games going on across Lawrence County this evening. Union hosting Shenango. Mohawk hosting Elwood City. And Laurel trying to go undefeated for the first time since 1977.
Yeah, Laurel finally getting that state love this week after being a team to watch for, I think, 3 weeks. They check in at number 10 in the Penn Live rankings. Aliquippa will kick it again.
No. Yandu Manti, long run up. He's got the leg to get it either way. This one, though, miss kick. Takes a high, almost onside kick-like bounce. Taken at the 30-yard line by Newcastle Upman, and he's suplexed down to the ground at the 37. Big stick made by Nate Lindsay.
Number 25 with the return. That's Austin Kelly.
Austin Kelly.
The recipient.
Bad luck recipient.
That's maybe the only way to put that. So the Canes will start 1st and 10 from their own 38.
9:58 remaining in the first quarter. Newcastle went 3 and out on their first possession. Jefferson will be in the backfield, sidecar left. Hood in the gun. Parks out the signals. Student body left, looking for blockers. Not much room. He's patient behind the lead block of Naheem Rogers, and is going to get a short gain, 2 or 3 yards on first down.
This has been the Canes' MO, especially after 3 and out drives. You know, Hood calling his own number, trying to establish a little bit of consistency. He gets 3 yards on that carry, so 2nd and 7 coming up.
He'll take it.
Absolutely.
Hood in the gun, 2 receivers to his left, ball on the far hash. 2nd and 7, zone read. He gives it off, and no room whatsoever up the gut. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it for Jefferson.
Maybe back to the line of scrimmage and making the stop.
Well, another 3rd and long coming up for the Canes. As that Aliquippa front showing just how stout they are.
6'3", Omar Banks, 6'4", 325. Jason McBride. Nico Eberhard is 6'2", 280.
Yeah. There's some size up front, no question.
This is a Class 1A enrollment school, by the way.
Now, what did they say they were graduating this
45?
year?
48?
It was something like that. It was in the 40s. Yeah.
3rd and 8, and motion. Actually, no, they got timeout. Did Newcastle before the play. Newcastle taking their first of the first half. We'll keep it right here on News Radio 1200 WKSD. And Rob, I mean, the conditions not great on the field, but not terrible either. It's a big difference even, Joe, just being out to the 40-yard line in terms of what you can do compared to where Newcastle started their first drive at the 20.
No, there's no question. No question about that. I mean, but in the same vein, you know, both teams are playing on the same field, so you can only take that so far. But this is a Quips team that, you know, once again is no joke. It's a great stat that you had on that hit with Don Rebel before our pregame show tonight. That, you know, Mike Warfield, in his 4 seasons as coach of the Quips, is 41-5, and 4 of those losses, including this year, are to Central Valley. That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
The other loss is to TJ last year, the Whitfield title game.
3rd down, 7 to go. Pump fake. Hood trying to throw on a comebacker, and it's going to be incomplete. The receiver slipping on the far sideline was Wells. I think you're going to see plenty of that tonight.
Yeah, Wells falling on his wallet as he was trying to turn. Ball on its way, and football falls harmlessly away, and Mike Wells will be out now for his 2nd punt in as many possessions for the Canes.
Of 2 now on 3rd downs. Wells will boot it away. Return men standing at the Aliquippa 25-yard line. Snap back. Wells, another good end-over-end kick. Caught on the run at the 29-yard line. Makes one man miss. Look out. A lot of speed across midfield already near sideline to the 40 and tripped up at the 38-yard line. That's Syer Clark, and it was Wells who made the tackle.
It's a 33-yard return, and the Quips will start inside the Canes 40-yard line.
8:16 remaining in the first quarter. 39-yard line is where the Quips will run their 2nd play of the game. Kawhi Hayes with a 60-yard touchdown run on the first offensive play. Shotgun formation. Barking out the calls is the sophomore quarterback. That's Quentin Good. He's going to quickly throw to the flat. Wide open is the receiver on the screen, going one-on-one, makes a man miss. He's got the first down inside the 25, spins away from Wells, gets down close to the 20-yard line before Hood finally brings him down. And that's just almost a check with me type play there, Rob. He saw a lot of space between the receiver and the defensive back. He makes the long catch.
Yeah, I think that was Sire Clark that with the reception down to the 23, a 16-yard gain.
He's the leading receiver on the year for Aliquippa. Here's another handoff to the freshman Hayes, pounces off a couple of tacklers, gets inside the 20 down on the left end, and he's going to get down, mark it at about the 16 for a gain of 7. Quickly up to the line, go the Quips.
Mike Wells making a stop for Newcastle. Second and 4.
They'll mark it at the 17-yard line. Second down.
Newcastle 17.
Call it 4 to go. Quips in the red zone, already leading 7-0. Turn, handoff again for Hayes. Gets a good kick out block, and he's going to go untouched to the left pylon for the touchdown. 17 yards and a great kick out block on this near sideline made by the receiver and the left tackle. Beautiful run. Crowder springing it. Second touchdown for Hayes. It's 13-0 Quips.
Yeah, and Hayes is really having no trouble finding a lane to get across the line of scrimmage. And just like his first touchdown run, that one just looked too easy.
Untouched from 60, untouched from 17. Quips leading 13-0. Snap is back. Yandu Manti is up and good. 14-0 Aliquippa over Newcastle. We'll take a break, be back in a moment here on News Radio 1200 WKST and on the LC SportsNet.
It's said that defense is the key to a championship team. This football season, when it comes to personal injury, you want the winning team of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. They are your personal injury law firm. Football fans know the best defense is a good offense. When you're injured, let LGKG defend your rights by going after the injury compensation you deserve. Call Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George for a free consultation today, 724-658-8535, or go to lgkg.com. Good luck to all the teams this football season from Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George.
Tonight's game is sponsored by the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, and News Radio 1200 WKST.
And so far, it's an offense that has been sponsored by Taquai Hayes. 3 carries on the night already for 84 yards and a pair of touchdowns.
3 plays, 39 yards on that scoring drive in a minute 1. Aliquippa with 99 yards total offense here in the first 4 minutes, 45 seconds of this ball game. Newcastle with 2.
That's Rob Gregory. I'm James Dotson. Glad to bring you coverage of tonight's game. Those 2 touchdowns, by the way, a minute and 1 second apart.
You know, as Hayes continues his meteoric rise up the rushing charts in the WPIL, he's already checking in as a top 20 rusher and coming into this game.
And now approaching 1,000 yards on the year after this first carry, or the first quarter, I should say. Return for Newcastle will get out to the 27-yard line. That was Leakins on the return. Newcastle will start 1st and 10 at their own 27-yard line. And at this point, you just want little victories, one at a time. Rob, get a first down.
You got to find a little bit of consistency here. I mean, you got to get, like you said, you got to get a first down on this drive. You've gone 3 and out the first 2 drives. You've gained a grand total of 2 yards here in the first 5 minutes of this first quarter. So a first down would be a great start to finding some consistency with this offense.
Well, it's an Aliquippa team that is allowing 10 points per contest. I mean, you talk about the offense all the time, but defense really stepping up, and a lot of those coming in garbage time. Hood, quick throw over the middle, caught, breaking away from a tackler is Wells, and then he's spun down across the 35-yard line, close to the first down. I like that, a nice safe play over the middle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Give him 9 on the pitch and catch, and a good-looking 2nd and 1 coming up for the Canes.
And
Wells with 7 catches last week, I think for, 121, including that screen pass that he turned into a 44-yard touchdown.
Lining up all over the field, and we have a stoppage on the play for an injured Aliquippa player on the far side of the field. 6:53 remaining in the opening quarter. It's 14-0 Aliquippa leading the Red Hurricanes.
Not mistaken. I think I saw a Bell Vernon update. Bell Vernon 7, McKeesport 0. Devin Whitlock with a 70-yard punt return. It's coming from Steve Rothstein with the PG. Actually check that. PG telling us Quentin Martin, 59 yards on a touchdown run. Bell Vernon up now 13-0 on McKeesport.
Oh, wow. How about this? Union leading 8-0 early over Shenango.
Now, like we were saying in the pregame show, you know, you gotta feel for that Union squad for the conference season that they've had. I'm sure there's more than a little bit of vinegar in that squad tonight.
Still working to get the injured Aliquippa player off the field. He stopped on the near numbers, really laboring, holding that, looks like his left arm. Now they finally do get him to the sideline. And they're about to start the play, and they brought the cart onto the field at the very same time. So now they're having to wait yet again. They brought the cart onto a muddy field as well. Probably not the greatest idea at the moment.
Well, you know, they were trying to shorten the distance there,
and
they're still gonna
safety first.
Yeah, they're still gonna use the cart though.
Yeah.
You're right. They're in all probability some cross signals there on how to handle that situation. For the Canes offense, it was been cross signals in their first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plays. Finally, with a nice pitch and catch slant, Hood to Wells. When we pause play here at 6:53 of the first quarter, Canes facing now a 2nd and 1 at the 36 after having 2 third and longs in their first 2 possessions. Just joining us, Taquan Hayes. 2 touchdown runs already for the Quips. They lead 14-0.
Now they're going to put the golf cart in reverse, and I was half expecting to get some ruts with the wet grass.
There we go.
All right, we're getting somewhere now.
And the obligatory applause. We prepare to resume play.
So as we resume play, it's 2nd and 1 for Newcastle. Student body right, now trying to cut up the middle is Hood. Not much room there, but he does fight forward, and he should have enough for the first down.
Yeah,
he only needed 1, but that's about all he got.
That's about the toughest one he's probably gotten this year. And they will move the sticks for the first time tonight. And, you know, it looked like Hood had a lane. But that Aliquippa front, again, pretty stout. But Canes move the sticks, have the ball at their own 37.
First down of the night as we reach the midway point of this opening quarter. Canes trailing 14-0 to Aliquippa. 5 wide receiver set now for Chris Hood in the gun. Looking to his left. Now he's going to fake to his right, trying to roll out to his left, being chased. Throws on the run, had a man open and just overshot him. And a flag thrown during the course of the play as well, and I believe one of the Canes may have been downfield.
Intended for number 17, Owen.
Looked like it was Karen Holmes who may have.
And that's what it is.
Cam Holmes went downfield.
Yeah. Flag laying at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, Severino was open. Past the mark to gain. But Hood overthrew it.
Hey, tell you what, that official is not mic'd, but we could hear him coming through from up here in the booth. Penalty accepted, the first one against Newcastle. Here in the last regular season game at the old Carl Ashman Memorial Stadium before the revamps coming. 5 receivers set on 1st and 15. 3 to the left, 2 to the right, ball right in the middle of the field. Quick throw it in the flat behind the intended target, and probably a good thing because Austin Kelly had a man right in his hip pocket.
Yeah. And don't think Austin Kelly was even going to make the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, right there was Dorius Moreland in coverage.
Second and 15 coming up.
That's the last thing you want to be against. Well, against any team, but especially this Aliquippa team, to be behind the sticks, not going to go well.
And those first two possessions are evidence of that. The third and longs that the Canes face. Now second and long here.
Hood dropping back, now rolling to his left, being chased from behind, throw, and going straight into the Newcastle bench, basically a throwaway from Hood. Great coverage down the field yet again by the Aliquippa defense. Hood 1 of 5 throwing here in the first quarter.
Canes have rushed, what, 5 times tonight? Looks like I have them at -1, 1, 2, 0, and 1. If you're wondering why Hood is coming out firing here on this third possession.
5 carries for 8 yards, 5 passing attempts for 9 yards. So balance, but no yardage numbers to speak of for the Canes. They'll again go 5 wide on 3rd and long. Snap back. Hood again pressured. Has a man open down the field. Caught the first down marker and passed midfield to the 46-yard line. Right up the seam for the first down to Austin Kelly.
Yeah, Austin Kelly making another big catch. Gets across the 50 down to the Aliquippa 45-yard line.
23 yards.
I was going to say, is that 23 I see?
And a huge 3rd down conversion for some momentum, and the first time the Canes on the Aliquippa side of the field.
A great roll and throw by Hood.
5 receivers set, Wells in the slot to the right. Hood gets the shotgun snap, throw to the flat, and almost one-handed caught by Wells, but again, just coming out of his break, a little bit of a slip up, lost his footing, and the ball goes incomplete.
That's what, the 3rd time we've seen Wells have a little bit of trouble with his footing tonight?
Yeah, Wells a couple times. I think Kelly on one of the earlier passes. Just really tough to get your footing and get it consistently out there. Score update.
Making those cuts.
Got a score update from the Leonard Rich complex, 7-0 in favor of the Spartans over Neshannock. Hood drops back on 2nd and 10. He's going to loft one down the far sideline, and it's going to be intercepted at the 10. Turning just at the last second to make the catch was the Aliquippa defender, and then in the, I'll call it the turf monster, we'll call it the wet grass monster, brings down Donovan Walker. He had a lot of space in front of him, too, to bring it back the other way, but he goes down at the 17
Boy, you're
after
not
the
kidding.
pick.
He tried to make a cut across the grain to get upfield, and he fell right on his tuchus. As it is, Quips take over with 5:13 to go here in the first quarter.
Welcome to grass fields. And you wondered how that was going to play a factor, not only in this game, but in all the games at a grass venue across the WPIAL. And now they're moving it back 10 yards. Half a distance penalty given, personal foul, helmet to helmet against
Oh, boy.
Aliquippa.
So that takes it, what, back to the 9?
Looks like they'll mark it at the 8. Called a helmet-to-helmet hit on the return. Turn, play action. Man open down the field, pass to the defender, down the near sideline, and just overthrew him. The defender, Andre Jackson, slipped and was streaking down the near sideline, knowing within about 10 yards of him, and if that throw was about a foot shorter, that's a 90-plus yard touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we would have been recording Aliquippa's 3rd score of this first quarter. Like I said, just overthrown.
They lead 14-0 to the Quips over Newcastle. 5 minutes, 6 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. Under center and a power I. How's that for old school? Power I formation, ball on the ground on the snap. And it looks like Aliquippa does fall back on it. No gain. 3rd down and 10 coming up. Slippery ball, slippery field conditions. That's the kind of stuff that you're expecting tonight, Rob.
Boy, it's It's the end of October, isn't it?
You're right about that.
I can read a calendar.
It is very scary, isn't it?
Oh, jeez. Are we going into the Halloween jokes? Let's hope not.
Wouldn't that be an awfully ghoul time?
Oh, boy.
That was terrible. Third down the middle of the field. Another man streaking wide open, caught at the 40-yard line. Spinning out of a tackle, now trying to stiff arm away from Jackson. Still going, pirouetting, fourth time around before finally he's thrown down at the 35-yard line of Newcastle. And a flag thrown at the end of the play, too. Huge gain, and question of what you're even going to be able to call on this is both defender and attacker had a piece of the other guy's jersey.
Well, that was Thornton again, breaking open at midfield. This time the ball thrown perfectly. The flag now laying at the Aliquippa 40, thrown at the end of that play.
I think you're probably going to get an offensive face mask. You're allowed to stiff arm on the face mask, but you can't grab it, and I think that's what they're going to get Thornton for. So it'll go down as a 51-yard catch from the 40-yard line, and then dragging it back 15 yards from there.
Called against the Quips. Face mask, but they do have a fresh set of downs. They're at their own.
That math add up 51 yards from the 9 to the 40? We'll go with it.
At the line of scrimmage at the 8. I'm with you on that.
Hey, have gained a yard on the fumbled snap. First and 10 now from the Quips 45-yard line. Again, looking down the field, and incomplete pass intended over the middle for Syer Clark. Maybe a little slip out of that break on the in route. Down to 3:52 remaining in quarter number 1.
Well, you see the strength of that arm, though, on good.
No kidding.
For a sophomore. Ooh. And here on this drive, the last 3 plays, he's just, should say, 3 of the last 4 plays. He's just been firing at will.
Those here at Aliquippa interested in that Bell Vernon score as well. 13-0 at the end of the first quarter over McKeesport. The big game in Class 4A. Turn, handoff, up the middle. Not much room this time for Hayes. Wrapped up by Hood after a 2-yard gain. But you can see the strength in the freshman's legs. He was hit at the line of scrimmage and still gained 2 yards.
Yeah, still powered through.
Third down and 8. On the last third down, Aliquippa with a 51-yard completion. This 3rd and 8 from the 47-yard line. Broken eye. Draw out the middle. Lots of room and a first down across midfield down to the 42 of the Canes. Huge hole right up the gut.
I mean, you know, when they talk about driving a truck through it, that was one of them. That was one of them, and that was probably not hyperbole.
Gain of 10, and quickly up to the line go the Quips. And another bobbled snap. It's on the ground and good. Doing a good job of falling on that snap before the Julian Morton defender coming on the outside almost fell on it first.
Second and 10 for the Quips.
Laurel now leading 14-0. Try to keep you abreast on all those Lawrence County scores and as many as we can across the Parkway. 2nd and 11, bobbled snap on the shotgun snap this time, able to corral it, throw to the flat is high and through the hands of the intended receiver, Tyre Thornton.
There's a lot going wrong on that play from the get-go.
And probably the best case scenario, all that happened was
I think so.
An incomplete pass.
I think so. Yet you still saw the strength of that arm throwing that out route.
3rd down, 10 to go. Trips right from the gun. Now getting the look from the shotgun and looking at the sideline is Quentin Good. He's going to shift Hayes from his left to his right. And lots of motion.
There's a lot going on there.
Somebody moving in the interior line, but both wide receivers at the top of the screen were moving, and they were halfway down the field. False start. That's the 5th penalty against Aliquippa here in this first quarter.
tweet correct, Laurel trying to go undefeated in the regular season for the first time in 44 years.
1977, the last time they were undefeated in the regular season. They lost in the WPL championship that year, but they got a championship 3 years later in 1980. Blitz from the outside, stepping up in the pocket is good. Lofted over the middle, and it's going to be caught on the near sideline. 30-yard line, breaks the tackle. Inside the 20, makes a man miss to the 10, to the 5. He's in the end zone. 3rd and 15. It's a 47-yard touchdown catch. Zaire Clark, he did the rest. His 6th touchdown of the season. Quentin Good's 12th in the air. Now 20-0 in the first quarter in favor of the Quips.
It looked like Tayshawn Wilkins had a shot, but when Clark made his last move, Wilkins could not find the footing, and Clark went past him.
Manuel Yadu Mantley is on to attempt the extra point. It looks like Aliquippa has only got 10 on the field, waiting for an 11th to travel out there. Now they get him out there. Just under 2 minutes in the first quarter. Snap back. Kick is up, and it again splits the uprights. 21-0 Aliquippa. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Newcastle Red Hurricane Football, your best choice right here on News Radio 1200 WKST and streaming on lcsportsnet.com.
Gas continues to rise, so why drive? Let the Newcastle Transit Authority take you where you want to go. Take the bus to work, school, doctor's appointments, or shopping, with stops throughout Lawrence County and weekday service to Pittsburgh. Perfect for those of you who drive it every day, saving yourself gas money and wear and tear on your vehicle. Public transportation just makes sense. Why drive when you can relax and ride? For more information or route schedules, log on to NewcastleTransAuthority.org. And the Newcastle Transit Authority, going your way. And remember, senior citizens ride free.
Home and away, your station for Newcastle High School football. News Radio 1200 WKST.
9-play scoring drive. Rob Gregory taking up a lot of yards, but not much time.
Yeah, 92 yards and 320. Zaire Clark, 47 yards from Quentin Good, and the Quips after the 3rd Manuel Yado Monte kick lead 21-0. 1:57 to go, first quarter.
21-0 in favor of Aliquippa, again showing why they're, no matter what classification, they're going to be top of the class. End over end kick taken at the 10-yard line, bobbled. Now picking it back up is the return man, trying to go outside. Was the return man? It was Cavarino on the return. Out to the 25-yard line before he is slammed down. Mark it at the 26. Newcastle had a decent drive going on their last one. Got inside Quips territory, Rob, but then an interception ended all that.
Chartiers Valley 7, Montour 0. First quarter. Winner of that game gets the last playoff spot in the Parkway.
Might do a little bracketology here in the second half.
Oh, boy. Lord help us.
Late man coming on for the Canes. Turn, handoff, left side, Sibley. Plants to left foot, goes up the middle, dragging some tacklers, gets out close to the 30-yard line before he's stopped on forward progress. Gain of 4 for Sibley.
Sibley's been one of those change of pace backs this season. Known for the big play, but other than Central Valley, hasn't faced as stout a defense as what he's going to encounter tonight against Aliquippa.
Yeah, not a whole lot of success so far running the football. That's the best carry of the night. 6 carries for 8 yards for Newcastle, down under a minute to play in quarter number 1. Shotgun, 3 receiver set, handoff up the middle, and that's going nowhere. Right up the A gap as Sibley loses 3 or 4 yards. Take your pick, but I believe first one in there was Omar Banks. Loss of 2, it'll be 3rd down and 8.
This is the third down of this quarter of 7+ yards that the Canes are facing.
1 of 3 on third down so far.
Yeah, their only conversion was that big pass play to Austin Kelly last possession.
2 receivers each way. Leakins and Cavarino at the bottom of the formation. Wells in the slot. And now he'll stack behind the receiver at the top. 10 seconds left as Hood takes the snap. Looking to the left. He's going to loft one, looking for Wells on the out, and incomplete at the 40-yard line. Just a little bit out in front of him. And a flag thrown back in the backfield after this play comes to an end. So with 3 seconds left, Canes look like they're ready to punt, but hold the phone.
Say, could this be some kind of roughing penalty?
There is personal foul against Newcastle.
Against the Canes.
So from 27, we'll go half the distance. Canes now 1 of 4 on third downs.
So the penalty is declined.
Yeah, dead ball penalty, so it will be enforced and pushed back.
Back to what, the 13?
So it is 4th and long for Newcastle.
4th down and the elementary school to go.
What was that, 23, I think?
4th and 23 officially. All on it. Look at the math today, Mr. Gregory.
Yeah, I'm trying.
High snap. Wells able to corral it and gets off his best punt of the night. Spiraling, backpedaling to his own 48-yard line is the Quips returner. Crosses midfield, comes to the near side, has blockers in front. Look out to the 40, to the 30, to the 20. See you later. Flag thrown right at the end of the play as the returner goes into the end zone, but this is going to be a 52-yard punt return for a touchdown to end the first quarter for the Quips.
Is that Brandon Banks?
Yes, number 9, Brandon Banks on that 52-yard punt return. So flag was thrown as Banks crossed the goal line. Wonder if he said or signaled something.
You're thinking a taunting situation. Yeah, that's
touchdown is good.
It's like he waved it off.
All right, so no taunting, just the flag accidentally dropped by the official. So Jan New Manley will be on to attempt his 4th point after of the evening. There's the whistle for the ready to play. Snap is back, kick is up, and it sneaks inside the right upright. 28-0 at the end of the first quarter, all Aliquippa over Newcastle. Take a 60-second timeout and be back in a moment here on News Radio 1200 WKST and video stream at lcsportsnet.com.
Washington Center Physical Therapy has been helping residents of the Newcastle area since 1987. They are the official physical therapy center for Newcastle Athletics and specializes in orthopedic problems, especially the knee and shoulder. When your doctor orders physical therapy by law, you have a choice of where to go. Choose Washington Center Physical Therapy for your best outcome. Visit them on the web, WashingtonCentrEPT.com. Washington Center Physical Therapy in downtown Newcastle, a proud sponsor of high school sports.
GNC Community Federal Credit Union.
How is your bank treating you? Do you feel like just another person in a really large crowd? Well, maybe it's time to look for an alternative financial institution like GNC Community Federal Credit Union. GNC is a safe, consumer-friendly financial service provider that offers consumers with alternatives. Visit GNCFCU.com or stop by one of their 2 locations on South Jefferson Street or 2907 Wilmington Road, Newcastle. Federally insured by NCUA.
Newcastle High School football, sponsored in part by the Newcastle Area Transit Authority. News Radio 1200 WKST.
End of the first quarter, 28-0 Aliquippa, and just the speed shown on that return, just the microcosm of this first quarter. 28-0 Quips, Rob, and it's very evident just the speed and the strength these players have.
They're scoring every which way. A couple touchdown runs. We've had a 47-yard touchdown pass, and now a 52-yard punt return from Brandon Banks at the end of the first quarter. And Canes in a right deep hole.
Another good kick from Yadu Mantley. He's going to be taken on the run at the 15-yard line for Newcastle and stuck at the 23. Big hit made. That was Donovan Walker on the hit on Owen Cavarino.
Hit with a big hit by number 21, Donovan Walker.
Well, he was stuck at the 23, so that's where the Canes will start their first drive of the second quarter. Char Valley Montour tied at 7 in the second quarter.
Winner of that one gets the 4th and final spot in this Parkway Conference. See if we can get a Beaver Blackhawks score at some point as well.
Of course, the other 3 spots already taken by Aliquippa and Newcastle and the Beaver Bobcats.
Two receivers to the short side of the field. Now they'll motion tight end over there as well. Hood, student body left. Fights forward out to the 25, maybe out to the 26 with the rugby scrum for a pickup of 4 yards.
Picks up about 4 on the carry. There was a host of flip jerseys in on that play.
3 carries, 8 yards.
No report from Beaver Blackhawk, but hopefully we'll have one soon. That one more for bracket seating purposes for the Bobcats.
Rolling to his right is Hood. Looked like he was going to run. Now throws on the run towards the sideline, and Wells wasn't ready for it. The defender saw it the whole way and makes a sliding catch before he goes out of bounds for the interception, by Nate Lindsay.
Well, you're starting to see that cascade now of nothing going right for the Canes. You know, teams like Aliquippa will do that to you. As the Quips now will start on the Canes 45, looking to make this a running clock situation.
Halftime score from Union. Scotty's leading Shenango 8-0. So that's now 8 of 9 games, and in the conference, 6 of 7 games that the Scotties have led at the halftime break.
Well, it can't be much passing in that game if it's already at halftime.
Quick throw to the near sideline, caught by Thornton, stiff arm away a defender, and then gets out of bounds at the 35-yard line. We'll be close to a first down. Finally dragging him out of bounds was Tayshawn Wilkins.
Looks like they'll give him, what, 11? They move the sticks.
Yep, 11 yards.
They'll start this next set of downs at the 34.
Under center and tailback. That play's still going. Now they finally blow the whistle. The running back a little bit too antsy. We'll push the Quips back. It was John Tracy, the sophomore, in the backfield.
Canes were pleading their case for a flag. Seeing motion on that line. They finally get it. Well, a few miscues by the Quips here in the first half. They lead 28-0.
6 penalties for 54 yards. That's where most of the miscues have been.
Yeah.
Counter action, a big hole again up the middle. This time for Tracy across the 30 to the 25, bouncing off tacklers in the secondary inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. That's a 20-yard gain for John Tracy on his first carry of the evening.
They got a lot of players, don't they? Got a lot of players that can move the sticks.
Counter now the other way. Tracy, patience, tries to get to the corner. Now cuts inside the 10. Stiff arm at the 5, and he will get dragged into the end zone for a 19-yard touchdown. 3-play scoring drive, and the Quips at it again.
Wow. 41 seconds in 4 plays. The Quips' third rushing touchdown of the evening, this time from John Tracy from 19 yards out. Aliquippa, a Yadu Monte kick away from making this 35-0.
10:23 remaining in the first half. How long was that scoring drive?
41 seconds.
Snap is back, and Mantley's kick is right down Broadway. 35-0 Aliquippa leads over Newcastle early in quarter number 2. We'll step aside, be back in a moment here on News Radio 1200 WKST, streaming at lcsportsnet.com.
It's said that defense is the key to a championship team. This football season, when it comes to personal injury, you want the winning team of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. They are your personal injury law firm. Football fans know the best defense is a good offense. When you're injured, let LGKG defend your rights by going after the injury compensation you deserve. Call Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George for a free consultation today, 724-658-8535, or go to lgkg.com. Good luck to all the teams this football season from Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George.
After the game, it's the post-game show. News Radio 1200 WKST Newcastle.
And the way this one's going, we'll be getting to the post-game show awfully quickly.
Aliquippa's pretty good, aren't they?
All that in a bag of chips. Again, in 4 years for Coach Warfield, it's 5 losses. 1 to Thomas Jefferson, 4 to Central Valley.
And that's it.
No one else has been able to get it done.
That is it. You look at some of the teams in 4A, if you want to look ahead to the bracket for next week, I mean, you've got 3 out of the Big 8 in Bell Vernon, McKeesport, and Thomas Jefferson. You've got a Hampton team that's unbeaten, and you've got this team, Aliquippa. And one of those teams is not going to make the semis.
Aliquippa's going to get the ball on a squib kick. It bobbles away from the returner, and Brandon Banks, the recipient, his second big special teams play of the evening. He had a punt return touchdown, now gets the recovery, and Quips in business again.
Now that comes right after Hood's second interception of the evening. Quips once again with good seats. The Canes 32.
Not a lot of seats available here at the pit. Best ones out there on the field for the Quips. Handoff up the middle, and a flag thrown into the pile at the end of the play. A very late flag after a carry for no gain. 5-yard variety of the face mask. That carry, by the way, for Floyd Sims. No gain on the carry and a 5-yard face mask. It'll be first down and 5. Third penalty of the game against Newcastle. Early second quarter, 35-0 Aliquippa. Pistol set, full house backfield. A fullback to the left, fullback to the right. And a tailback behind quarterback Quentin Good. Gets the adjustment from the sideline. Now takes the pistol snap. Play action. Going to loft one down the far sideline. One-on-one coverage, and we're going to have an incomplete pass. Everybody looking for the flag, and it's not going to be granted. I think Andre Jackson got away with one. As he
pretty sure he did.
He basically grabbed and tackled the Quips receiver.
He had at least a little bit of jersey there about halfway into the end zone. If he doesn't have that jersey, maybe. Maybe it's the 6th Aliquippa touchdown of the first half.
Instead, it's just 2nd and 10 at the Canes 27-yard line. 2nd and 5, excuse me. Trips left. Good. Drops back. Plenty of time. Now throws one over the middle, and this one's incomplete. Double coverage over the middle of the field. Good coverage all the way down the field for this Newcastle defense.
I almost thought Wilkins had a chance to pick that off at the 5. I almost think he tried to elevate a little bit and just couldn't get the footing. As it is, 3rd and 5 coming up for Aliquippa.
Yeah, you're right. Much better chance. He definitely undercut the route, but couldn't get the footing to make the attempt.
I realize I don't have the angle that Wilkins had, but just appeared that maybe if he gets a little bit of elevation, he picks that off at the 5.
Easy for us to say up dry in the booth as
Boy,
well.
You're not kidding.
Wells coming on a corner blitz, getting away from Hood is the receiver, or the quarterback. Good. Now lost one down the field, and a man wide open in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. Zaire Clark will make the catch for the 27-yard touchdown. Good buys time and has a man completely by himself in the corner.
Yeah, when Wells whiffed on Good around the 35-yard line, Good was able to roll out to his left. Clark wide open in the back corner of the end zone. 6th touchdown of the half for Aliquippa.
Quentin Good now 5 for 10 for $152 and a pair of touchdowns, both going there to Zaire Clark. Keanu Mantley's kick now 6 for 6. It's 42-0 in favor of Aliquippa over Newcastle. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Red Hurricanes football on News Radio 1200 WKST and watching at lcsportsnet.com.
Washington Center Physical Therapy has been helping residents of the Newcastle area since 1987. They are the official physical therapy center for Newcastle Athletics and specializes in orthopedic problems, especially the knee and shoulder. When your doctor orders physical therapy, by law, you have a choice of where to go. Choose Washington Center Physical Therapy for your best outcome. Visit them on the web, WashingtonCentrEPT.com. Washington Center Physical Therapy in downtown Newcastle, a proud sponsor of high school sports.
Newcastle High School football, sponsored in part by Washington Center Physical Therapy. News Radio 1200 WKST Newcastle.
2 touchdowns less than a minute apart there, Rob Gregory.
Oh, the 6th touchdown of the half for Aliquippa. This time 4 plays, 32 yards in 52 seconds. Zaire Clark, his 2nd touchdown reception of the night from quarterback Quentin Good, this time from 27 yards out, and after the Emmanuel Yadu-Monti kick. Quips lead 42-0, 9:27 to go, first half.
Aliquippa to boot it away. They're now 4-4 on 3rd down, by the way, after that long completion. Another squib kick going to be taken at the 17-yard line, going from near side to far is Wilkins. Wilkins stops, pops, cups up the middle, gets to the 35, falls forward to the 37-yard line. Nice strong return on that one for Wilkins.
Even you saw the hesitation from Wilkins when he tried to cut back. Did you see that hit about the 35? And that just slows you down. That allows the pack to catch you. And as it is, the Canes will start at their own 38, 1st and 10.
Newcastle with 42 yards of offense. Quick estimate, Aliquippa at about 290.
Yeah. You could say a lot and cover it. For tonight, anyway. Yeah.
Don Rebels post-game recap will be short and sweet. Two running backs, in the backfield with Hood. Sibley's going to get the handoff going to the right, bounces to the outside, gets to the edge, but he's pushed backwards out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Short gain on the play, gain of 2 for Sibley.
Char Valley now up 14-7 on Montour. Abe Ibrahim with a 12-yard touchdown catch. Boy, that was a stingy yard, wasn't it?
Yeah, they marked it at the 39, didn't they?
Huh.
42-0, Aliquippa with the lead. Early 2nd quarter. Another handoff going nowhere on this one. Maybe falling forward at the end to get a yard on the carry. I believe that was Sibley again.
A little bit of extracurricular activity at the end of that play.
do give the 1 yard out to the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 8. We're down to 8:20 remaining in the first half. 3 receivers set, 2 in the backfield, 1 on each side of Hood. In the gun, Hood drops back. Now steps up in the pocket, looks to run, gets to the 45-yard line, bounces off a tackler, but absorbs a big hit. A 5-yard gain for Hood, but he needed 8. It'll be 4th down and 3, and at this point, if you're Newcastle, what do you do?
Oh, I think everything is 4-down territory at this point.
Give your offense a chance to.
I mean, at this
run,
point,
yeah.
you're working on things for next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, let's be honest about this.
They do keep the offense on the field. Wells, the single receiver to the top of the formation. Wilkins and Jackson to the left. Hood on the quick pass. It's going to be intercepted on the quick hit to the 50-yard line, and he's going to go all the way for the pick 6. Just sat on that route the entire way, and it's Brandon Banks yet again.
Yeah, you had that exactly right. Absolutely jumped that route in front of Wells. And there was nobody in front of him. And Aliquippa has got their 7th touchdown of this first half.
Hood's last 3 pass attempts all caught, but by the team in black and red.
What'd you say that was from 50?
50 even, yep.
Yeah.
Unsportsmanlike conduct called after the play against Aliquippa. Waiting, and they will, I believe, enforce this on the kickoff. There's the signal. Aliquippa 48-0 after the pick 6 by Brandon Banks, his 2nd touchdown in the return game here tonight for Aliquippa.
Yato Monte looking for his 7th point after the first half.
And he is 7 for 7. 49-0 in favor of the Quips. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to News Radio 1200 WKST and watching on lcsportsnet.com.
Rise. So why drive? Let the Newcastle Transit Authority take you where you want to go. Take the bus to work, school, doctor's appointments, or shopping, with stops throughout Lawrence County and weekday service to Pittsburgh. Perfect for those of you who drive it every day, saving yourself gas money and wear and tear on your vehicle. Public transportation just makes sense. Why drive when you can relax and ride? For more information or route schedules, log on to NewcastleTransAuthority.org and the Newcastle Transit Authority, going your way. And remember, senior citizens ride free.
Tune in to the Kevin Stefanski Show, Thursday nights at 9, News Radio 1200 WKST.
Well, coming up at the half, we'll take a look at the first half scoring recap, take a look at some stats, and try to get you some more score updates from across the Parkway and the rest of the WPIAL. All Aliquippa here at the pit tonight. 49-0, still 7:21 remaining in the first half.
Del Vernon up 26-0 on McKeesport late in the first half. Hampton big on Mars, 35-7, so it looks like they will finish undefeated for the 2nd time in school history, the regular season. And you would assume earning a first-round bye in the 4A bracket.
Take a look at those a little bit more at halftime and into the second half. After the 15-yard penalty, kick taken at the 25-yard line for Newcastle, out to the 38 on the return for Andre Jackson. That's where Newcastle starts, 1st and 10.
Well, like I said, the last possession, you're working for next week now. You're looking for consistency. You're looking for precision. An experience of watching routes get jumped can only help you next week. Canes will start this drive from their own 38.
And again, looking for moral victories at this point. Aliquippa, though, certainly making a statement before.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, that quarterfinal round is going to be crazy. You got 5 really good teams and only 4 spots in the semis.
Only 3 teams getting a first-round bye. That'll be interesting how that plays out as well. High snap, Sibley gets the handoff. He basically took the snap, goes right end, maybe gets a yard on the play out to the 39-yard line. Clock winds, under 7 minutes to go here in quarter number 2.
I think the results hold tonight, with Bell Vernon winning big right now against McKeesport at home, and Hampton winning big again. They're going to finish 10-0, and of course Aliquippa here tonight. I see no reason why those 3 byes wouldn't go to the conference champions in 4A.
See on our scrolling scoreboard if you're watching at lcsportsnet.com. Now 28-0 Laurel over Neshannock. Quick throw to the flat, looking for Wells, and pass a little low. Looked like it kind of slipped out of the hands of Chris Hood. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for Newcastle, trailing 49-0 midway through the second quarter. Yeah, the McKeesport Bell Vernon, depending on how that game plays out, you would think it could have been possible that those 2 teams would be put 1 and 2, but I'll tell you what, the statement Aliquippa making tonight, I think they may even be able to have an argument for the number 1 spot.
And you know, it's hard to ignore a 10-0 Hampton team too. I mean,
yes.
It's really hard to have them finish the schedule perfectly and not give them that first-round bye.
Quarterback draw on 3rd and long. How about this? Hood gets the first down to 50, blocks, bounces off a tackler, still going inside the 40 down to the 35-yard line. Quarterback draw, something a little bit different. 11 yards to midfield, 11 plus 15, 26-yard carry.
That becomes the Canes' biggest gainer of the evening.
Yes, it does.
Gives them a first down. And what, only the 2nd time they've been in Aliquippa territory this evening, I believe.
They still trail 49-0. Hate to remind you of that, but
yes, they do.
That's our job. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. 3 receivers in the formation. Coming off of the bench is Julian Morton. He's going to come into the backfield, sidecar left. Snap, handoff, coming near side, and Sibley's going to get slammed down for a 3-yard loss in the backfield. Feels like every play, Quips are getting guys in the backfield.
Well, you're not kidding. I mean, Sibley in this quarter alone has carried, 4 times for 0 yards.
Chris Hood has a 25-yard completion and a 26-yard carry in this game. You take away those 2 plays, Newcastle has 19 yards of offense.
That sounds about right. 2nd and 13 coming up.
Under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Wilkins in the slot to the left. Hood in the gun. Draw up the middle. Tries to bounce it to the right side. He does. He's going to get upended right back at the original line of scrimmage. Good tackle by Donovan Walker coming up from his secondary position.
Not only that, it looks like he was losing his footing, too, as he was trying to get to the outside. Our 3rd and long coming up for the Canes.
3rd and 10 right at the 35-yard line. Canes break the huddle with 4:15 remaining in this first half. Throw down the near sideline, diving effort for Jackson, and just out of his reach. Pretty good coverage on the play as well for the Quips. 4th down and 10 at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, it was that Clark step for step with Jackson. Now Jackson down at the 2. trying to shake it out of his arm. I know he's pointing to his leg.
The training staff will.
Yeah, we're going to have to stop at your play here.
Yeah. They'll make their way out onto the field. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a 60-second timeout. We'll be back in a moment. Your best place to watch and listen to Newcastle Red Hurricane football. It's News Radio 1200 WKST and streaming online at lcsportsnet.com.
GNC Community Federal Credit Union.
How is your bank treating you? Do you feel like just another person in a really large crowd? Well, maybe it's time to look for an alternative financial institution like GNC Community Federal Credit Union. GNC is a safe, consumer-friendly financial service provider that offers consumers with alternatives. Visit GNCFCU.com or stop by one of their 2 locations on South Jefferson Street or 2907 Wilmington Road, Newcastle. Federally insured by NCUA. It's said that defense is the key to a championship team. This football season, when it comes to personal injury, you want the winning team of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. They are your personal injury law firm. Football fans know the best defense is a good offense. When you're injured, let LGKG defend your rights by going after the injury compensation you deserve. Call Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George for a free consultation today, 724-658-8535, or go to lgkg.com. Good luck to all the teams this football season from Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George.
You're listening to Newcastle High School football on News Radio 1200 WKST Newcastle.
I'm glad you can join us. News Radio 1200 WKST. Video stream at lcsportsnet.com. Also listening at 97.9 FM. Under 4 minutes to go in the first half. It's 49-0 Aliquippa all over the Canes. A pick 6, a punt return touchdown. A little bit of everything here tonight for the Quips. And 4th down and 10 coming up. Fake throw to the flat, going to try to set up a screen to the right. They get the pass off. Does Hood, breaks away from a tackler, trying to cut inside, lowering his shoulder, and just coming up a couple of yards short on the catch. I believe that was Morton on the catch. Needed 10, got 8. Good play design there, Rob, but unable to get it enough for the first down.
Yeah, because he had Wells coming out into the flat on the other side, hoping to draw some of that defense over. But as it is, he's going to be short. What a yard.
Well, we will have Mercy roll running clock in the second half. Same at the Leonard Rich Complex. Laurel 35-0 over Neshannock.
And I hear that McKeesport is on the board at Bell Vernon. It's now 26-7 Leopards. That late in the first half.
I mean, that McKeesport team, very impressive a week ago as we have a timeout called on the field by Newcastle. And Bell Vernon doing this to them just shows how great that team is with Devin Whitlock.
Well, I think you're exactly right about the word statements, because it's clear that Aliquippa is making one tonight. I don't think they want to leave any doubt that they deserve the week off next week. As you mentioned earlier, 13 teams in the 4A bracket, 4 from the Parkway, 4 from the Big 8, and then 5 from the Greater Allegheny. That's the conference that Hampton's in. But another game that has big playoff implications is Greensburg-Salem Plum tonight. And they're tied at 14 late in the first half. We're also looking for an update on that Char Valley Montour game, which will decide the last spot in the Parkway. And I don't know, by looking at the standings and what have you, possibly the last spot in the bracket itself.
49-0 screen pass for Aliquippa on 1st and 10, and well read by Wells, kind of slipping to the ground as he made the catch as well, was the receiver. That was Hayes, the running back. No gain on that play.
A little surprised that Hayes has made another appearance.
Only a 6 touch, 5 carries, now that 1 catch. Pump fake, Good's going to throw towards the near sideline on the out. Incomplete pass at about the 45-yard line. Down the field was Tyre Thornton. Good now, 6 of 12 throwing the football. 3rd and 10, down to 3:18 remaining in the first half. Clock stops on the incomplete pass. 3rd and 10 from their own 26-yard line for Aliquippa, leading 49-0. 3-receiver set. Good in the gun, drops back. Looking down the field, now steps up to his left. Throw over the middle and incomplete, deflected on the play. The defender in zone coverage.
Is that Cavarino?
Nah, it's 20-something. It's tough to see now with the mud on the jerseys.
Well, I know he's got a end his
25.
It was Austin Kelly.
Yes.
The defensive play.
It's the first time the Quips have not converted on a 3rd down here tonight. And the first time the punting unit will be out there on the field.
So is that Yadu Monte is the punter as well?
I believe we have whistles. Yeah, I believe it is Monte. He gets the snap, and the lefty boots it away. High but short punt. Knuckling up in the pit skyline. Takes a Quips bounce at the 45 and going across midfield to the Canes' 48-yard line. That's where Newcastle will take over 1st and 10, down to 2:58 remaining in the first half. 49-0, all Quips here this evening. And again, coming up at the half, we'll update you on as many games as we can from across the area.
Laurel Neshannock, 35-0 now at the half.
Last 2 kickoffs, thanks to our friends at the Newcastle News. Last 2 kickoffs have been muffed by Neshannock, both recovered by Laurel. First one already taken in for a touchdown. Trying to pull another one off just a few seconds before half. Fake, run up the middle, big hole for the quarterback. Hood makes a man miss at the 35 to the 30 to the 20, going down the sideline, dragging a couple of tacklers before he's finally knocked down inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. 44 yards on that pickup for Chris Hood.
Yeah, he faked the handoff to Morton. Found a lane and took it. Gets down to the 6. Was that 47 yards on the carry?
Mark it down to 6. Yep.
So now that becomes.
So now Newcastle.
Kane's biggest gainer of the night.
Now can they punch it in late here in the first half? Trips to the left. Now they'll send the slot man Wells in motion. Wells trying to direct traffic as he goes in motion. Hood waits the snap. Student body left. Tries to bounce to the outside, but he runs into a brick wall.
Oh, boy.
No chance whatsoever as Naquan Crowder, 6'3", 345. Actually, correction, 6'3", 3 1/4 inches. According to the official roster.
Thank you very much.
Don't want to cheat him out on that last 3/4 of an inch.
Absolutely not.
It looks like a wrestling roster when you hit quarter inches and pounds at 162 written for some players, 143, those type of things. Feels like a wrestling roster.
He is a big boy.
He's only a junior.
And now Hood knows it too.
2nd and goal from the 7. Hood, another zone read. He keeps it. He'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, but that's about it. Not much room up the middle. And yeah, Crowder, 6'3", 3 1/4, or 6'3" and 3/4, 345 pounds. How about this? Tyrese Jones, a senior, 6'6" and a half, 365 pounds.
A little bit of size.
Just a little bit.
On an Aliquippa roster. And, you know, for the number of kids that they graduate, it's a pretty robust roster.
Good thing they don't have more in their graduating class. There wouldn't be room for them in the classroom. Under a minute to play in the first half. 3rd and goal from the 6. Hood drops back. He's going to loft one over the middle of the field and caught in the end zone to an open Mike Wells right in the front of the end zone between the uprights. Newcastle on the board with a late touchdown.
Oh, 4 plays, 53 yards. Canes get on the board. 35 seconds to go here in the half.
Late man coming on for Newcastle as they try to attempt the extra point.
Pretty much a jump ball for Wells. Easily able to sky and
yeah, I'll
grab
take the 1,000-point scorer on that one more often than not.
Right?
Angel Porras, his first attempt to kick one tonight. Bad snap, but whistle and a false start before. Good job by the holder, Chris Hood, just to even get the snap, but doesn't matter with the procedure penalty. They'll back the Canes up 5 yards. And they'll try again.
Freedom, New Brighton tied at 6. That's a win you're in game.
Mohawk certainly fans of the New Brighton Lions tonight, as that would improve Mohawk's positioning in the conference. So Porras from 5 extra yards back to attempt the extra point. High snap, Hood able to get it down, and the kick is, well, I'm not even sure the kick officially got off. He went about 2 yards on the kick. I don't think Hood even got the snap down in time before Porras attempted the boot. 35 seconds remaining in the half. It's 49-6 Aliquippa. Be back in a moment. Your best choice for the Newcastle Red Hurricane football. It's on News Radio 1200 WKST and streaming at lcsportsnet.com.
Gas continues to rise, so why drive? Let the Newcastle Transit Authority take you where you want to go. Take the bus to work, school, doctor's appointments, or shopping, with stops throughout Lawrence County and weekday service to Pittsburgh. Perfect for those of you who drive it every day, saving yourself gas money and wear and tear on your vehicle. Public transportation just makes sense. Why drive when you can relax and ride? For more information or route schedules, log on to newcastletransitauthority.org. And the Newcastle Transit Authority, going your way. And remember, senior citizens ride free.
The Canes, sponsored in part by the GNC Community Federal Credit Union. News Radio 1200 WKST.
6-yard pass from Chris Hood to Mike Wells, capping off this scoring drive.
4 plays for 53 yards and 2:23. The Canes are on the board. The kick failed. 49-6 to go. 35 seconds to go here in the first half. Blackhawk leading Beaver after 1, 8-0.
That's
interesting.
Very interesting. So Porras now to kick it off, and is that ball laying flat on the ground?
Sure appears that way.
Little squib sideways. It bounces off of a Quips player. The ball is loose at the 38-yard line, and it does look like in the pile, Aliquippa got to it first, so it's an interesting little wrinkle, something to try. With 35 seconds left, the Quips do recover it.
It almost worked. Almost worked. I'm assuming you're just aiming for one of the up men, right?
Yeah.
Take your best aim and hope for a ricochet, and that's what Newcastle got. But Quips able to control, and they'll have the ball for presumably the final 29 seconds of the first half.
And how often do you get a chance to really fully work on special teams like that? So give them a chance to give a little different boot.
Sure.
But 49-6, late first half. Snap back, Goods looking down the field. On the out, caught at the 50-yard line for the Quips, and getting out of bounds down at the 42-yard line is the receiver. Believe that was Banks again. Say Banks again. We've called his name a lot tonight, but that's his first official catch of the night.
First catch, right? Yeah.
20 yards.
22 seconds left.
Smart play to get out of bounds as well. For the first down. Trips left with 22 seconds left. Rolling to his left is the quarterback Good. He's going to throw off his back foot, and it's going to be intercepted at the 30-yard line by Wells. The receiver slipped down, and the throw was underthrown. Wells slips as he tries to make a man miss with 10 seconds left. Wells with the interception, unable to get much on the return. 11 seconds remaining in the first half. Newcastle with the ball back.
Yeah, really an easy pick for Wells. Like you said, the ball was underthrown, and all Wells had to do was jump up a little bit, about as much as he did for that touchdown catch in the end zone. Grab the pick, so the Canes now have it with 11 seconds to go in the first half at their own 38.
And see maybe if they try to dial up a play to go down the field. Or if they'll just take a knee to try to end the half. In the gun is Hood, sidecar to his left. Drops back, Hood, waiting, now tries to get away from pressure, and he's not going to be able to. He's going to get sacked for a 10-yard loss back to the 29-yard line. And that's how the first half will come to an end. Newcastle scores on the last drive of the first half, but it's all Quips 49-6 as the teams head to their respective locker rooms. We're going to head to a commercial break. Let's take a 2-minute timeout and be back in a moment. Your choice for Newcastle Red Hurricane football. It's News Radio 1200 WKST and streaming at lcsportsnet.com.
Washington Center Physical Therapy has been helping residents of the Newcastle area since 1987. They are the official physical therapy center for Newcastle Athletics and specializes in orthopedic problems, especially the knee and shoulder. When your doctor orders physical therapy, by law, you have a choice of where to go. Choose Washington Center Physical Therapy for your best outcome. Visit them on the web, WashingtonCenterEPT.com. Washington Center Physical Therapy in downtown Newcastle, a proud sponsor of high school sports.
GNC Community Federal Credit Union.
How is your bank treating you? Do you feel like just another person in a really large crowd? Well, maybe it's time to look for an alternative financial institution like GNC Community Federal Credit Union. GNC is a safe, consumer-friendly financial service provider that offers consumers with alternatives. Visit GNCFCU.com or stop by one of their 2 locations on South Jefferson Street or 2907 Wilmington Road, Newcastle. Federally insured by NCUA. It's said that defense is the key to a championship team. This football season, when it comes to personal injury, you want the winning team of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. They are your personal injury law firm. Football fans know the best defense is a good offense. When you're injured, let LGKG defend your rights by going after the injury compensation you deserve. Call Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George for a free consultation today, 724-658-8535, or go to LGKG.com. Good luck to all the teams this football season from Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George.
Gas continues to rise, so why drive? Let the Newcastle Transit Authority take you where you want to go. Take the bus to work, school, doctor's appointments, or shopping, with stops throughout Lawrence County and weekday service to Pittsburgh. Perfect for those of you who drive it every day, saving yourself gas money and wear and tear on your vehicle. Public transportation just makes sense. Why drive when you can relax and ride? For more information or route schedules, log on to NewcastleTransAuthority.org. And the Newcastle Transit Authority, going your way. And remember, senior citizens ride free.
The Canes, sponsored in part by the GNC Community Federal Credit Union. News Radio 1200 WKST.
Halftime here at Carl A. Ashman Memorial Stadium, and it is all Aliquippa leading Newcastle 49-6 at the halftime break. I'm James Dotson, Rob Gregory alongside. Glad you can join us here on News Radio 1200 WKST. Quips 307 yards of offense, Newcastle 128. Aliquippa also with both a punt and kick returned for a touchdown in that first half. You see why they're ranked high in the WPIL, high in the state, just doing a little bit of everything tonight, and really they haven't even done much. Taquai Haynes had the first play of the game go for a 60-yard touchdown. Hasn't done much really since then, Rob, but hasn't needed to.
Really, I was going to say, really hasn't needed to. You got 3 touchdown runs total for the Quips in that first half. A couple touchdown passes from Quentin Good. You've got an interception return for a touchdown. You've got a punt return for a touchdown. Canes with 4 turnovers in that first half, so that doesn't help things. Aliquippa with 28 in the first quarter, 21 more in the second quarter, and a 49-6 lead here at the half. And you made the statement in the first half about the statement that Aliquippa was making here in the first half, and I think you're exactly right. I think you'll leave no doubt here, Week 9, Game 10, that they deserve a first-round bye when the brackets come out this weekend.
Now they for sure do, and proving it here tonight. A couple of first half stats. We'll start with the Canes. Chris Hood finishing with 3 interceptions, ended up going 4 of 14, throwing the football for 47 yards. He has 80 yards on the ground. Did have the touchdown catch, though, did Hood, or the touchdown pass, to Michael Wells from 6 yards out. So Hood with 147 yards of total offense. The rest of the Canes with 19 yards of offense. 4 first downs for Newcastle in that first half. Compare that to 11 for Aliquippa. Quentin Good, 172 yards, a pair of scores, and a touchdown. To Kawhi Haynes, the freshman phenom, with 5 carries, 96 yards, and a pair of scores. Sire Clark, 2 touchdown scores. Brandon Banks with a punt return touchdown, as well as a pick 6 here in the first half. 49-6, your score at the halftime break. You run out of ways to describe just the speed and strength that you're seeing. The size up front for Aliquippa, though, is something that I think we all forget about when you talk about an Aliquippa team, but really impressive, the size and strength you see on that defensive front.
Well, like I said in the first half, you're going to have a situation when this bracket comes out. You're going to have Aliquippa, you're going to have the 3 monsters of the Big 8, Bell, Vernon, McKeesport, and Thomas Jefferson, and then you'll have Hampton, who looks like they're going to finish the regular season unbeaten for only the 2nd time in school history tonight. They're beating Plum tonight, so you got 5 teams right there, and there's only room for 4 of them in the semifinals. And well, that quarterfinal round is going to be something, that's for sure.
It'll be fun to see how teams get seeded when tomorrow comes. Tomorrow, 5 o'clock, the brackets will be unveiled on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Let's take another break. We'll come back as the Newcastle Marching Band takes the field. But their Canes trailing 49-6 at the halftime break. Your home for Newcastle Red Hurricane football. News Radio 1200 WKST.
Paid for by Bar Justice. Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? Zantac may be linked to these cancers: bladder, colorectal, esophageal, intestinal, kidney, liver, ovarian.
Guys, you want me to run the news and border after this? Guys.
800-379-9550.
If you have a
You
lot
there?
of
You there, Marie?
high-interest debt to pay,
touching. A touchy.
One more year, we got it. No, next year is our year. I don't want to come visit you. Look, I don't want to, because that ain't a good. I know. Not because. I don't want to see you back. Look, thank you. I want to see you keep my friends. Look, that's what I'm. Next year we gonna get together because we doing like we did Savon. You remember we did the pictures. We gonna get it together because next year.
.gov, paid for by.
Back here at Aliquippa High School, it's halftime between the Quips and the Canes, and it's 49-6 Aliquippa as senior night festivities before the game and more senior night festivities now going on during halftime. In fact, they just now, about 2 minutes ago, started the 20-minute halftime clock. So we're still got another 15 minutes before the second half begins, and a running clock will be happening at that spot, too, with the mercy rule in effect here at Ashburn Memorial Stadium. 4 turnovers for Newcastle in the first half, 7 touchdowns for the Quips, including 2 in the return game. A lot of impressive stuff here from Aliquippa tonight, and we'll dissect more on that here during the halftime break, but some scores coming across. Rob Gregory working the Twitterverse.
As much as I can. Oh, bad news has nothing to do with anything going on, but my alma mater just went down 13-7 to Maplewood in the first round of the District 10 1A playoffs. Parkway tonight, Montour Chartiers Valley win in your in-ball game, tied at 20 at the half. Beaver down 8-0 at home to Blackhawk in the second quarter. Midwestern, Laurel leading the Shannock at the half, 35-0. Freedom and New Brighton tied at 6 at the half. Mohawk 25, Elwood City 0 at the half. And the Big 7, Union, clinging to that 8-6 lead over Shenango in the fourth quarter. Olsh leading Cornell 7-0 in the third. Burgettstown 16, Fort Cherry 0. That game in the third quarter. Other notable games, Bell Vernon 32-7 lead over McKeesport. That for the top of the Big 8, that game at the half. Plum leading Greensburg-Salem. Because Hampton is leading Plum this evening, that has become a win-and-get-in game. Plum leading 27-20, that game in the third quarter. And the 2A Allegheny, the winner of this game getting the conference crown. Steel Valley leading Sarah Catholic in the third quarter, 6-0.
Well, we have a minute. Let's take a look, a little maybe bracketology here. I love the work here.
Did you pull out did you pull out my attempt at forecasting the impossible?
Well, it is the impossible, but it won't be impossible in about 18 hours. Remember, tomorrow at 5 o'clock is when those brackets will be officially unveiled. I'm trying to find mine just for comparison, because of course I had to do some bracketology as well.
While you do that,
yes.
I will give you some prefaces to mine. Mine assumes that Bell Vernon beats McKeesport tonight, finishes the regular season 9-0. It presumes Hampton finishes the regular season 10-0. It presumes an Aliquippa win tonight over Newcastle. It also presumes a Greensburg-Salem victory over Plum, which is not happening. So maybe we can throw Plum in that Greensburg-Salem spot in this 4A forecast that I came up with. But again, 13 teams making the 4A bracket, 4 teams out of Newcastle's Parkway Conference, 4 teams out of the Big 8. That's the conference that's got Bell Vernon, McKeesport, and Thomas Jefferson in it. And then the Greater Allegheny, Hampton is going to win the conference championship in that league. But you've also got Armstrong. You've got our friends from Highland that the Canes have played in the last decade in the Northwest 9, then the Northwest 8. Greensburg-Salem and Indiana also looking like playoff contenders, as is Plum. Knock and Mars bringing up the basement in that conference. But 13 teams out of 16 slot bracket. That means 3 teams will get the first week off. And I have given the first week off to the conference champions, the presumable conference champions. So that's Aliquippa out of the Parkway, Bell Vernon out of the Big 8, Hampton out of the Greater Allegheny. I've given Bell Vernon the top seed in the bracket, Aliquippa at 2, Hampton at 3. And then from there, you have to seed the other 10 teams. And I've got Highlands or I should say Greensburg-Salem at Highlands in the 8-9 game, winner of that playing Bell Vernon in the quarterfinals. Indiana comes in as the 12th seed. They'll take on Thomas Jefferson, who I have as the 5th seed. I have Bell Vernon 1, Aliquippa 2, Hampton 3, and then I think because of McKeesport's strong season, you got to give them the 4.
Yeah.
But you can't ignore Thomas Jefferson either, so they're going to slide in at the 5. McKeesport will take on the winner of the Chartiers Valley Montour game. Right now, again, that game tied at 20 in the third quarter, and I think the winner of that game gets the final spot in the bracket. In the bottom half, I got Beaver slotted as the 6 because it appears, although this was before Blackhawk decided they might want to throw a wrench in things, I had Beaver finishing second in the Parkway and that way earning the 6th seed. That could definitely change depending on the results of this evening. Laurel Highlands I gave the 11th seed, so they're the 6-11 game. The winner of that game would take on Hampton in the quarterfinals. And then I got the Canes coming in as the 10th seed, taking on Armstrong with one of the best quarterbacks in the WPIAL. Armstrong getting the 7th seed, and the winner of that game would get Aliquippa in the quarterfinals. So that is the 99% wrong forecast I have, depending on the results of this evening.
Just to reiterate, you have the top 5 being Bell Vernon, Aliquippa, and Hampton getting the byes, and then McKeesport, Thomas Jefferson. If that were to happen, you would have McKeesport, Thomas Jefferson, and Bell Vernon all from the same conference, all in the top half of the bracket, and you would have a absolute bloodbath across the WPIAL.
And that's where we're talking about that. It's that scenario that allows Hampton to maybe slide into the semifinals. And I think that's only fair. I think if you're going to have 3 teams from the same conference getting 3 of the top 5 seeds, something's got to give before you get to the semifinals.
If you're looking at my bracketology, it's the same top 5, except I do have McKeesport and Hampton flip-flopped. I think that they would put McKeesport on that opposite side as long as they continue to put up a decent effort here tonight in the game against Bell Vernon. I mean, you beat Thomas Jefferson. That definitely speaks for something. And, let's be frank about it. That Greater Allegheny Conference just does not have the weapons that the Big 8 or the Parkway does. And I think that's probably what the committee will end up looking at. But, again, we prognosticate. You had Newcastle down as the 10 seed going against Armstrong. I currently have them as the 9 seed going against Highlands. Either way, it would be a road game going down towards Armstrong County.
Right.
So, again, that's what it looks like from our vantage point, and a lot still can change in the next couple of hours, and it will become official come tomorrow at 5 o'clock again on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Some other scores coming across. How about Union still holding on to an 8-6 lead over Shenango in the fourth quarter? Didn't see that one coming. Union has lost 5 in a row now.
Well, it's almost like Union is taking out all of its frustrations tonight on the last 5 weeks of the season. Again, they started the conference play with that victory over Rochester and then just had some heartbreakers down the stretch. So you've got to know that there's a little bit of frustration on the Scotty sideline tonight.
I got to give a little shout-out to my man Antonio Ferrone, one of the linemen for the Union Scotties. The Scotty seniors, the tradition of their seniors giving the jersey to a teacher for the Friday before their last home game, and he was kind enough to offer it to me. So I got to give a big shout-out to the animal himself, Mr. Antonio Ferrone, for
outstanding.
For that, and it's a cool, fun tradition seen there at Union High School, and you see that a lot more often now in various schools. That sort of thing of the getting the teacher who has meant the most to you or made the biggest impact in life, and it is speaking as an educator, that is a very big honor to be able to be chosen for that. So hats off to Union, hats off to them, and 6 minutes remaining in that game. It's going to be a fun, wild finish in that one. Score here from the pit, 49-6 in favor of Aliquippa over Newcastle. Still about 6-7 minutes before we'll get to the second half kickoff. So let's take another 2-minute timeout. We'll come back, take a look at some prognosticating. Very limited in Class 1 and 2A across the WPIL. When we return, your choice for the Newcastle Red Hurricane football is here on News Radio 1200 WKST. Video stream at lcsportsnet.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Constitution authorizes 2 forms of legitimate money, gold and silver. but our government abandoned gold and silver over 50 years ago. Meanwhile, gold and silver prices have skyrocketed over the last year amid growing political and economic uncertainty. Experts say precious metal prices are headed much higher in the months and years ahead. So to help protect my listeners, Swiss America has a very special offer. Silver walking Liberty half dollars at the amazingly low price of $12.50 each, delivered. You heard me right, $12.50. Call now to reserve your silver coins at 800-289-2646, which spells 800 BUYCOIN. That's buy coin. Silver walking Liberty half dollars for just $12.50 each, delivered while supplies last. That's 800-289-2646, which spells 800 BUYCOIN.
So now I've got this pack of 4 Shar-Pei rescue dogs for, oh my goodness, probably 5-6 years. They get a regular diet of Dinovite with every meal. DINOVITE.com. People remark on what beautiful coats they've got. I tell them, you don't need to wait until a problem presents itself. It's far better to keep the dog happy and healthy at all times. You won't believe how happy your dog will be. I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
How much equity do you have in your home? 50,000, 100,000, more? Well, cybercrime experts are alerting homeowners that more equity you have, the greater the chance foreign and domestic criminals will come after you. Home title theft is one of the fastest growing crimes. In fact, Home Title Lock, America's leader in home title protection, is alerting homeowners they could already be a victim and not know it. Here's how it goes down. First, cyber thieves search hundreds of public databases for high-equity homes. Next, they pull your home's online title, forge your signature stating you sold your home, and take out loans using your equity. You're not covered by insurance, your bank, or common identity theft programs. Protect your most valuable asset. Register your address now to see if you're already a victim and receive a complete title history of your home, a $100 value free. Go to HomeTitleLock.com, code radio. That's HomeTitleLock.com, code radio.
Second half, just a few moments away here from Aliquippa High School. I'm James Dotson, Rob Gregory alongside. Aliquippa leading Newcastle 49-6 here on News Radio 1200 WKST. Rob, looking at the second half here, what is it that you said in this extended halftime with the senior night festivities? What is it that you're saying if you're Coach Cowart in that locker room, and what is it you're looking for in this second half?
Well, you know, we mentioned it in the first half that the second half has got to be about preparing for your first-round matchup in the playoffs next week. So you are talking about consistency. You are talking about precision. You want to see, even if they're short drives, you want to see drives without any flags. And you want to stay healthy. It might be the most important thing. Bury the lead there. I mean, you still want to get out of this game as a healthy team so you can be at your best next week in the first round of the playoffs.
Aliquippa will receive the second half kickoff, and the running clock will be in effect. While we have a quick moment, briefly look at the 1A and 2A scenarios. Laurel about to go undefeated in conference play for the first time, or in the whole regular season, I should say. First time since 1977.
That's crazy.
There were 5 teams that were undefeated still in Class 2A, though, coming into tonight's contest. You think Laurel will probably end up as a 3 or 4 seed because you'll still have either Steel Valley or Sarah Catholic. Whoever wins that game will be undefeated and should be a top seed. Stowe Rocks is the obvious number 1. Washington, always a power. They're undefeated again this year. I think those are your 1, 2, 3. Laurel probably as the number 4 seed, which means, hey, here we go again. Another potential matchup down the road between the Spartans and the Vikings.
Yeah, Steel Valley actually leading that game in the third quarter now by 2 scores. It's 14-0. Again, the winner of that one earning the conference crown.
I'd love to see that matchup be able to happen. A Laurel Steel Valley, the 2 top rushers in the entire WPIAL.
Actually, Professor Chris Harlan tells us they're now actually after 3 quarters, Steel Valley 14, Sarah Catholic 0.
Want to have a moment and thank everybody here at Aliquippa for getting us set up.
Absolutely.
And my first trip to the pit.
more phenomenal hospitality from the folks here, and really a thank you to all of our road games this year. The hospitality has been second to none, as usual, not a surprise. And we thank all the locales that we have traveled to bring you Newcastle Red Hurricane football this season.
And thanks again to our sponsors. As a squib kick taken and falling on it at the 36-yard line is Aliquippa, and same guy yet again, Mr. Brandon Banks, falling on that football. But thanks again real quick to our sponsors, GNC Community Federal Credit Union, the law offices of Luxembourg, Garbutt, Kelly, and George, the Newcastle Transit Authority, and of course Washington Center Physical Therapy.
Yeah, Brandon Banks has had a nose for the ball tonight, hasn't he? 52-yard punt return for a touchdown, a 50-yard interception return for a touchdown.
Is still the starting quarterback in there, Mr. Quentin Good. He's going to hand off, coming near side to the 40, 45, out towards midfield for a nice carry. That's number 29 on the carry. That is the junior Quaylen Darby with his first carry.
All the way out to midfield, a 14-yard gain as Quips moves the sticks on their first play of the second half.
Darby again, the tailback and the broken eye. He'll get the handoff left end. He's going to be wrapped up quickly. First guy in there was senior Devin Palmer, holding him to no gain.
Yeah, Devin Palmer kind of came flying out of nowhere. Get him across the chest and slow him down.
First drive of the second half. The clock will not stop, except now it does stop for an injured player laying right in the middle of that Aliquippa logo at midfield. They're tending to, looks like a injured Quip down on the field, now slowly getting to his feet.
Boy, not putting much weight, though, on that left leg.
That's number 31, Floyd Sims, senior fullback, making his way off the field.
Well, if they get the turf for next year, or the future, we can say, they won't be able to, or maybe, I don't know, maybe they will. They won't be able to customize the logo at midfield.
Yeah,
like they do.
Tough to see now, but number 22 out there. Yeah, that's for the classmate who passed away last year.
Passage of a bond allowing improvements to Carl A. Ashman Memorial Stadium very soon.
I formation, quick throw to the near side, wide open, and catch made by Jamal Jeter. Makes a man miss at the 40, to the 30, down the near sideline. Look at the speed, to the 10, knocked out of bounds inside the 10 by Wilkins. That's it. It'll say you step back out at the 12, but just another run pass option, a check with me, and Quentin Good, he's been pretty darn good at that all year long.
Yeah, 38 yards on that play. And was it Andre Jackson that, again, couldn't get his footing here on the near sideline?
Quickly up to the line, handoff for Darby. He's going to go left end, still fighting forward. He'll get close to the 5. We'll mark it down to 6 for a 5-yard pickup.
Sounds like they're going to call Devin Palmer on the stop.
His second tackle of this drive, trying to go to the right, is Darby, and holding on for dear life. And making the initial hit was Marcus Evans, and then a bunch of Canes in there to help him. Maybe a gain of 1 for Darby on this one. Third down and 4 to go. Ball at the 5-yard line. Quips can get a first down without putting it in the end zone. Darby again, right up the middle, lowers his shoulder into the rugby scrum, trying to push forward, and he's still fighting, and he made it all the way in the end zone. Forward progress was never stopped. He kept moving forward. Kudos to Quaylen Darby getting the 5-yard touchdown run.
So what is that, the 8th touchdown by the Quips tonight? They improve their advantage now to 55-6 with the point after pending.
Pele out there again. Mr. Yondu Manti. Snap is back. Kick is up, and it is true. 56-6 in favor of the Quips. We'll be back in a moment. Listening to Red Hurricane Football on News Radio 1200 WKST and streaming at lcsportsnet.com.
Washington Center Physical Therapy has been helping residents of the Newcastle area since 1987. They are the official physical therapy center for Newcastle Athletics and specializes in orthopedic problems, especially the knee and shoulder. When your doctor orders physical therapy by law, you have a choice of where to go. Choose Washington Center Physical Therapy for your best outcome. Visit them on the web, WashingtonCentrEPT.com. Washington Center Physical Therapy in downtown Newcastle, a proud sponsor of high school sports.
The tradition continues. The Canes on News Radio 1200 WKST.
This matchup used to be an annual tradition, Rob Gregory, but after many years apart, it is kind of nice to see the Canes and the Quips back in the same conference these past couple of years. A couple of non-conference games a few years ago as well.
Yeah, season openers.
Yes.
Yeah, that Week 0 game.
That's why you have a Week 0. Is for...
That's one reason.
For those kind of matchups. Well, that's, as a fan, that's why you have the Week 0 matchups. How about that? But all-time, this is the 46th matchup. But the last time the Canes victorious back in 1987. And guess what? The Quips beat them later in the playoffs that year. Kickoff taken about the 15-yard line by Wilkins. Loses his footing past the 25 out to the 26-yard line. And, you know, sometimes, you know, we see that in baseball a lot. The downside of playing on turf is that when you get to the grass, you forget how to play on grass. You chop the feet a little bit more.
Pretty clear that the Canes have had decent trouble tonight keeping their feet.
Is this their only natural surface?
It's going to be the third or fourth time that Wilkins is lost his feet. Is it?
Well, Rob Gregory ponders that.
I am pondering that.
Union just scored again in the fourth quarter to extend their lead.
Look at that.
They lead 14-6 in the fourth quarter. Here, early third quarter on a winding clock. Newcastle trailing Aliquippa 56-6. Snap back. Hood fakes, keeps it himself. Up the middle to the 30, maybe to the 31-yard line. Pick up a 4 yards on first down. Hood, who had 10 carries for 80 yards in the first half, also had a 6-yard touchdown pass. Winding clock with the mercy rule in effect. Canes starting offense still out there. Less than a minute to go in that Union game as well, and they lead by 8 with an extra point pending. So wait for the final, but hats off to the Scotties. Handoff on 2nd and 7 here, trying to get on the right side, falling forward for a 2-yard gain out to the 32-yard line. That's Julian Morton. That's his first official carry of the contest.
I think you're right. I think this is the only grass field.
Looking back through that schedule. That is crazy to think, but that's also, I mean, basically schools 4A and above are almost entirely turf at this point. Newcastle getting some new turf in the near future, it sounds like.
Hopefully, yes.
3rd down and 5. Hood gets his shotgun snap, and he's going to launch one down the far sideline, and it's going to be incomplete. And there's the flag, as Wells trying to fight back inside, was impeded by the defensive back. And a tough pass interference, but Wells trying to fight through, unable to get there because of the defender. So that'll give the Canes just their 5th first down of the contest. One thing this does, though, clock's still winding this entire time. Now down to 5.5 minutes in the third quarter.
Yeah, already midway through this third quarter. Steel Valley has scored again, by the way. Now 21-0 over Sarah. Point being made on Twitter that Sarah Catholic's only allowed 62 points this year, and they're down 21 now to Steel Valley.
They're going to be celebrating at Sox Russo's with a victory over Shenango. Man, what a season it could have been for the Scotties. Nice way for them to finish it. Finally back to the action. Almost 2 full minutes run off the clock while they assess that penalty. Handoff up the middle is going to get out to the 45, 46-yard line. That's a 4-yard pickup on first down for Newcastle. Julian Morton.
Okay.
Tough to see with the mud on the backs.
We're not accustomed to the turf games either. Yeah, good for Union. Good for Union. I mean, you can just imagine how much air was taken out of their sails when they lost that game in overtime to Olsh. I mean,
yeah.
Because at that point, I mean, they were still a hard luck team, but they still had definite playoff possibilities. And
Cornell is undefeated in that conference, and Union was leading by 2 scores in the second half against them.
Yeah.
On 2nd and 7, Hood's going to keep it to the right, bounces off a couple of tacklers, but trying to come back to the left. Nowhere to go, dragged down on the play. I believe that was Braylon Wilcox and Nako Ebhart in there on the tackle. No gain. Down to 3.5 remaining in quarter number 3 here on News Radio 1200 WKST. It's 56-6 Aliquippa. Quips scoring the first 49 points of the game. Now the running clock here in the second half. 3rd and 7 as the Canes break the huddle. 3 receivers set. Hood in the gun. Barks out the signal, now gets the snap. 2 men in his face immediately, trying to roll to his right, throw on the run. It's going to be incomplete. Diving attempt made on the play. That was Austin Kelly, the intended receiver. 3 of 9 now on 3rd downs are Newcastle, and again, it looks like they're going to try to keep the offense on the field. Try to pick up this 4th down. They are 0 of 2 on 4th downs so far this evening.
Plum and Greensburg-Salem tied at 27. They keep going back and forth. That game after 3.
Thank you, Kyle Dawson, for that one.
That game for the last playoff spot out of the Greater Allegheny.
Bell Vernon with another score in their game, so they're going to lock up the number 1 seed, it sounds like.
Impressively, too.
4th down, Hood is going to launch one down the right sideline, jump ball, and through the hands of the intended receiver, Tayshawn Wilkins. Jump ball, had a step, maybe slightly underthrown, but a good ball, and the junior just could not come down with it. It'll be a turnover on downs. Quips football coming.
And the Quips will start off on Newcastle's 46.
Hey, while we have a moment, let's give a shout out to the volleyball teams. 5 county volleyball teams making the playoffs, of which 3 are still alive. Union lost in the quarterfinals last night. Only 2 losses on their season. What a great season they had. Elwood City, after making it to the finals last year, they lost in the first round to the number 2 seed Avonworth on Tuesday night, as Quips with a handoff up the middle, but a flag thrown right at the snap as Floyd Sims gets a carry. Good to see him back out there after the injury.
Say, wasn't he the one limping off a couple minutes ago? Yeah.
12-yard gain, and I apologize, no flag. It was a football being tossed on the near sideline.
A little bit of tempo here.
A little tempo. Sims gets another carry right up the gut, and he's going to go into the end zone. And a flag thrown late, though. Flag was just thrown when the runner got to about the 5-yard line. Right now it's a 33-yard touchdown, but it's coming back for a holding call. finish the volleyball thought real quick, though. Neshannock, Shenango, and Laurel all playing tomorrow in the early afternoon in 2A quarterfinals matches. Shenango playing Avonworth, Neshannock playing Sarah Catholic, that game also at Avonworth, and Laurel traveling to Freeport. Laurel play Sarah Catholic. Seton LaSalle, the opponent for the Lancers tomorrow. So that's going to officially go down for those keeping score at home as a 4-yard carry and then the 10-yard holding penalty. Nine penalties for 94 yards unofficially now against the Quips tonight. Counter action, trying to go to the left side now, new ball carrier. And a big hole on the left side, inside the 30, inside the 20, still going the far sideline to the 10, and he reaches for the pylon, but he stepped out of bounds just shy of it. And I'll tell you what, maybe lucky he did, because he actually dropped the ball before getting to the pylon.
Well, he was reaching for it, yeah.
Down to the 3. That was number 25, John Tracy.
Was that Tracy? So we saw him in the first half.
Yeah, his third carry. His carries have gone for 20, 19, and that one went for...
What, 37?
Yes. First and goal at the 3-yard line. Handoff up the gut, fighting his way towards the end zone, and he's in there. Touchdown Quips. That'll be the final play of the third quarter.
Was that Sims?
Not sure. I thought it was 31 Sims, but I'm not sure. Jamal Jeter. Well, now we're switching it back. We are going to say Floyd Sims. Floyd Sims, 3-yard touchdown run. Yondu Mantley up. Yondu Mantley 9 for 9. It's
how about that?
63-6 at the end of the third quarter. We'll be back in a moment. Canes trailing the Quips here on the Lawrence County SportsNet and on News Radio 1200 WKSD.
GNC Community Federal Credit Union.
How is your bank treating you? Do you feel like just another person in a really large crowd? Well, maybe it's time to look for an alternative financial institution like GNC Community Federal Credit Union. GNC is a safe, consumer-friendly financial service provider that offers consumers with alternatives. Visit GNCFCU.com or stop by one of their 2 locations on South Jefferson Street or 2907 Wilmington Road, Newcastle. Federally insured by NCUA.
Tonight's game is sponsored by the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbutt, Kelly & George and News Radio 1200 WKSD.
Aliquippa 63, Newcastle 6. Team switch sides, 12 minutes on the clock to start quarter number 4. I'm James Dotson alongside Rob Gregory, and this one will begin winding down. We'll try to get you some other score updates across the WPIAL as this one finishes up.
Bell Vernon is 3 points away from Mercy ruling McKeesport. Up 39-7 now.
I'll talk about a statement. That's a statement that could hurt the seeding of McKeesport and potentially go the Rob Gregory route and put him at the 4 rather than the 3.
My alma mater, Mercer, has fallen tonight to Maplewood 19-7 in the District 10 playoffs. Maplewood takes on Cochranton, D10 semis next week.
Kickoff will be taken at the 12-yard line. Backpedaling by Wilkins, spinning the tires a little bit in the muck down to our left, and he's going to not even make it to the 20-yard line, dragged down at the 19. Canes taking over 1st and 10 with now a winding clock beginning of the fourth quarter.
Well, again, you're looking for some consistency, precision, and stay healthy.
Yeah, I wonder if
we'll
we'll
keep
see.
burying the lead on that one, I think. I think probably staying healthy is
number one priority?
The number one priority, absolutely.
Now, try to get some new bodies in there, we believe. We'll try to get them as we go along here, but it'll be 1st and 10. And it'll be under 11 minutes before they even take this snap.
You can tell this is going to be a very deliberate fourth quarter.
And a lot of the familiar faces. Still Hood behind center. Wilkins and Wells, the receivers to the right. Snap taken at 10:52. Hood running for his life, and he's going to be dragged down from behind inside the 10-yard line.
Boy, that's going to be a loss of, what, 12?
Who is that? Willie Simmons will get that sack, and yes, that is a huge loss.
Actually, they're going to spot it just outside the 10.
Generous forward progress. Second time he's been sacked for a 9-yard loss. Has Hood on the evening. Hood, who came into this game just shy of 900 yards passing, just shy of 700 yards on the ground, has the potential to maybe be a 1,000-yard rusher / passer, maybe both. Only been done 12 times in the history of the WPIAL. Hood, handoff on the zone read, and he had nowhere to go. Loss of another yard.
Was that Jefferson?
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to take him back.
Third down and long, 3rd and 20. Newcastle trailing big, early fourth quarter on the winding clock. Hood. Now they break the huddle. 2 receivers each way. Wilkins in the slot, as is Austin Kelly, excuse me. Hood, drop back, coming to the near sideline, diving effort and catch made at the original line of scrimmage by Wilkins. His first catch of the night out to the 20-yard line. Gain of 10, but only halfway home. 4th down and 10 coming up for Newcastle. And now they will bring the punting unit out.
Your compadres at the Lawrence County SportsNet saying that Union dressed 18 tonight? Wow.
They only dressed 17 last week.
My goodness. What a gutsy effort. What an absolutely gutsy effort by the Scotties to finish their season tonight. Good for them.
Imagine what could have been with that team.
Yeah, I mean,
this is probably one of the few games that they finished the game with 18. A lot of times starting with 19 or 20 and finishing with about 12 on the roster that were healthy. That's just kind of how it's gone. Wells with the punt. It's going to bounce and die at the 46 of the Canes. 7:50, clock winding here in the fourth quarter. Newcastle trailing 63-6 to the Quips. If you look at that 1A, Shenango had a chance to be the number 3 team, Rob, in that Big 7 conference. Still could. Very unlikely, though, they will, and they actually had an outside chance of maybe even hosting a game as an 8 seed next week. That certainly will not happen. A lot to consider with Olsh, Fort Cherry, Burgettstown all going at it.
You had Olsh winning 7-6 at home to Cornell, and Burgettstown 16-0 over Fort Cherry in the third.
Talk about the parity in that Big 7 conference.
Boy, you're not kidding.
If Olsh, who has been playing terrible football the last couple of weeks, just to put it bluntly, and they're leading undefeated Cornell. Rochester lost to Union, who then lost the next 5 games. New quarterback in there is number 19, Joe Krotik. He handed off up the middle for a 3-yard pickup.
I did not see who that new running back was. Oh, there we go.
Perfect timing.
Number 34. Getting a tote.
we will tote our way next week to wherever the Canes will end up.
A locale unknown. Oh, boy.
And that is a legal play.
Well, it is.
As Chris Hines made the tackle, he grabbed onto whatever he could. He did not grab the jersey. He did not grab the horse collar. He grabbed the hair that's sticking out of the jersey.
Oh, see, I thought it was a hood. I thought he was wearing a hoodie.
Oh, it might be a hood. I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was a hood.
Either way, not too good of a feeling, whether it's on the neck or on the scalp.
No, not so much.
Under 6 minutes to play now. First down for the Quips. Inside the 35, down to the 33. Offset eye, turn, handoff. Another effort for Dawkins. Not much room, kind of loses his footing near the line of scrimmage.
Actually, they may have given him one.
Wilkins will get that tackle. Try to get some updates on that Big 7, and our friends at LC SportsNet will have all those standings and some bracketology as well on there after tonight's games early tomorrow morning. Handoff up the gut here for Dawkins. Falls forward inside the 30 down to the 28-yard line for a pickup of 4. And again, the brackets will be released tomorrow night, folks, not on Monday, as has been the norm. You like that, the extra 2 days?
For me as a fan, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. I mean, I like the pageantry of what would happen before, but because of current events, I understand. Like I said, it gives wonks like us an extra 2 days to tear it apart and put it back together again.
As long as the selection committee is doing what they can to make sure that that they're analyzing it properly and not rushing their decision. That's about all I would care about. Handoff up the middle for no gain. A flag thrown late as one of the Canes gave a little extra shove after the whistle.
A little extracurricular activity that was not appreciated.
Which will result in a Aliquippa first down.
Let's see, that'll be half the distance, won't it?
It will. Mark it from the 28 to about the 14. Clock stopped currently at 4:03. Man, again, you can see if you're watching at lcsportsnet.com the puddles of mud. I have a feeling that this will be the last game at on the grass at the pit.
On the turf.
The natural turf. Krotek under center for the Quips. Bobbles the snap, broken play. He's going to try to roll to his left, and he's going to run into Austin Kelly, and forward progress is called. He practically broke away from the hit, but forward progress stopped long enough to get the whistle.
That's what a forward progress.
Maybe 1 yard on the play. Say he lost a yard.
I was going to say, I thought he got back to the line of scrimmage. But
clock down to 3 minutes and winding.
Some witchcraft here at the end of the season. Perfect for the season. No, we're not getting into Halloween jokes.
A lot of treats out there for sure for the Quips tonight. And just taking a knee on that one, and the defensive line of Newcastle was plowing through, unaware that the gentleman's agreement, and all the defensive line are holding their arms up like, well, wait, what was that?
So a good senior night for the Aliquippa Quips.
Newcastle will be in the postseason. We'll break that down more in our post-game show, but looks like they will get the number 3 seed out of the conference. We estimate either a 9 or a 10 in the Class 4A postseason. And And we estimate a road trip down towards Armstrong County. Another team kneel for a loss of 1. We're under 2 minutes, so probably you have to do it one more time, and then they'll wind the final minute off of this fourth quarter clock.
Now, Blackhawk was beating Beaver at the half. It's the last report we have of that game, 14-6. So really any scenario with Newcastle losing and Newcastle getting the 3 out of the Parkway.
A little late for Officials Appreciation Week. That was a couple weeks ago, but doing a good job of just winding some extra time, letting everybody get out of here. And we won't bury the lead this time. The good news is it looks like everybody getting out of this game healthy and now can put the focus towards next week.
There's
the whistle for a delay of
delay of game.
And because of a winding clock delay of game, they have to officially stop the clock. Appreciation to the officials, again, doing their job and doing correctly. Now that clock winds. And Quips will just have to kneel it one more time, and that'll allow us to exit the contest. It'll be Aliquippa 63, Newcastle 6, your final score here from the pit.
Canes will finish 3-2 in the conference, 6-4 overall. As there's the knee.
And there's the game.
From Crotech.
Teams will line up, and that's how this one, with a turnover on downs officially, will end the contest. Aliquippa 63, Newcastle 6. We'll be back in a moment to recap it here on News Radio 1200 WKST and streaming at lcsportsnet.com.
It's said that defense is the key to a championship team. This football season, when it comes to personal injury, you want the winning team of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. They are your personal injury law.
I'm going to fire off the last 2 and then kick it back, okay?
Garbett, Kelly, and George for a free consultation today, 724-658-8535, or go to lgkg.com. Good luck to all the teams this football season from Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George.
Gas continues to rise, so why drive? Let the Newcastle Transit Authority take you where you want to go. Take the bus to work, school, doctor's appointments, or shopping, with stops throughout Lawrence County and weekday service to Pittsburgh. Perfect for those of you who drive it every day, saving yourself gas money and wear and tear on your vehicle. Public transportation just makes sense. Why drive when you can relax and ride? For more information or route schedules, log on to NewcastleTransitAuthority.org. And the Newcastle Transit Authority, going your way. And remember, senior citizens ride free.
Washington Center Physical Therapy has been helping residents of the Newcastle area since 1987. They are the official physical therapy center for Newcastle Athletics and specializes in orthopedic problems, especially the knee and shoulder. When your doctor orders physical therapy, by law, you have a choice of where to go. Choose Washington Center Physical Therapy for your best outcome. Visit them on the web, WashingtonCentrept.com. Washington Center Physical Therapy in downtown Newcastle, a proud sponsor of high school sports.
(63-6) the final score from Carl A. Ashman Memorial Stadium and Aliquippa High School. Again, the Canes finishing 3-2 in the Parkway Conference, 6-4 overall after the regular season. This game effectively over after the first quarter. Aliquippa scoring 4 times. Twy Hayes with 2 touchdown runs of 60 and 17 yards. Sayer Clark holding a 47-yard touchdown pass from Quentin Good, and Brandon Banks returned a punt 52 yards. That was all in the first quarter. Aliquippa's Emmanuel Yadumante, the first of his 9 extra points Quips led 28-0 at the end of one. They led 49-6 at the half. The only bright spot for the Canes, Michael Wells catching a 3-yard touchdown pass from Chris Hood. John Tracy with a touchdown run in that second quarter for Aliquippa. Clark, another touchdown catch from Good, that one from 27 yards out. Banks again getting on the scoreboard, this time on an interception return from midfield. Quips scoring twice in the third quarter. Quaylen Darby, a 5-yard touchdown run. Floyd Sims, a 3-yard touchdown run. Reserves for the Quips getting into the book. Running clock, of course, the entire second half. And Aliquippa makes its statement going into the playoffs, 63-6 tonight here at Ashman Memorial Stadium.
That's Rob Gregory. I'm James Dotson. And yes, a statement indeed. Finishing the season with just the single loss in non-conference play to a very powerful Central Valley team, undefeated 5-0 here in the Parkway. And we estimate the number 2 seed, Bell Vernon, likely the number 1 seed with their performance tonight as well. And I think a lot of people will be shocked the way the way tonight went on those two contests. I think a lot of people are going to be thinking it'll be Quips and Leopards to face off at Heinz Field when all is said and done. But still plenty of games to go, and Newcastle will be on the road, almost a certainty there to be on the road for the first round of the playoffs. But, I mean, you got to put this one behind you, obviously, Rob. Tough to do for sure when you lose by such a wide margin. But, you know, still playing great football all year long. And you know this is going to be a team that is going to match up well with just about anybody they'll face in the opening couple of rounds.
Oh, goodness, yes. I mean, after that first quarter, I mean, I think you kind of made it a point just to kind of get out of here healthy and make sure, you know, you could keep your mistakes to a minimum. And you know, for the most part, the Canes did that tonight. They did not play, you know, given the circumstances, given the field, the turf, and what have you, they did not play a sloppy game. It wasn't nearly their worst performance of the year. It just happened to come against a team who, like Bell Vernon tonight, wanted to make a statement to the committee for when the brackets come out this weekend. And that's what you got out of Aliquippa tonight.
63-6 your final score. That ends the regular season for Newcastle, finishing at 6-4, 3-2 in the Parkway Conference. And again, stay tuned. The Trib Live High School Sports Network at 5 o'clock is where the brackets will be unveiled tomorrow afternoon. Yes, Saturday afternoon, early evening. Make sure you check it out and see where the Canes and where everybody else across the WPIL will be heading. Well, it stayed dry for us, Rob. I don't know how.
I will say that. I will say that, and maybe take one last look at the pit as we know it now.
Yes. And
because there's a very, very, very good possibility that this view will change significantly by the time football returns next fall.
Well, the pit has served well here at Ashman Memorial Stadium, and the Quips served them well with a 63-6 victory in the finale here tonight. Thanks again to Marie Atwell back at the studio for turning all the dials, getting everything going for us here this evening. For my broadcast colleague Rob Gregory, I'm James Dotson signing off. You've been listening to Newcastle Red Hurricane Football on News Radio 1200 WKST. Have a great night, everyone.
Okay.
This is the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAT.